unlike some of the other Trump rallies that we've seen, this one is particularly silly. The Christmas trees, this and I might add, the store-bought Christmas trees that are effectively sets that he uses instead of like they had to move the American flags out of the way to put the Christmas trees there. So he's standing between them like the world's saddest, gropiest Santa, like, sorry, they tore my beard off because I tried to grab, one of the moms by the titty, and then all hell broke loose. Like, it just has this just sad wandering fair. But it is an minus the song, hi, thank you. I am here by myself. Thank you. Okay. By the way, another small crowd. And it's not a big room to start with. And there's a lot of gaps at the back of the room, as reported. And he's very upset about this. So more than likely, I have not pre-watched this, but I've seen pictures. More than likely, we're gonna hear a lot of
even outside, it's packed.
That shit, right? We're gonna hear like, oh, outside, huge crowd of people trying to get in, but we couldn't do it because we need large open spaces on the floor for dancing. But this is, I'm good. Okay. All right, they're getting smaller but louder. He's got the look on his face of a national arena touring act that is on their 5th state fair, and it's starting to dawn on them that they may never play an arena again. You know what I mean? Oh, there you are. Give a thumb up your ass. That's right. I'll poke you in the booty with your... Hello. I'll just stand here like redneck Himmler. Just kind of play the song till it's done. What? Honestly. Hey, hello, front row Joes. I recognize you. Yeah. Is there anybody actually from Iowa here? Shit. What is this? What kind of an asshole stands like? Hi. How are you? I'm a wallflower, and no one will dance with me. Wallflower, alone at the dance again. Wallflower, where is my Princess Charming? All right. Yeah. They have no idea. I'm filling my diaper with soup right now because I'm really upset at how small this crowd is. Hey, boy. I'm like Mall Santa Mussolini. That's what I am. Like Mall Mussolini. I think that's a good one. I think that Mall Mussolini might stick. Hey, you, I know you. I think. Do I really know who any of these people are? Hello, thank you. I see you everywhere. I can't tell if I should be happy they're stalking me or upset. Darth Maul Santa. Now that makes him sound too cool. Maul Mussolini. That's my future. Does that nunt queef? No doubt, right? If you mic his tie, it's like if he moves his head forward. Okay. All right. It's so funny with it, like the song not playing, he's like, all right, let's get this shit over with. Okay. Free. Thank you very much. All right, now we can play the... Thank you, Waterloo.
Very much. It's great to be here, and a lot of people outside. A lot of people.
Oh, fuck you. Right away. Right away. A lot of people outside. Apparently, it's better to be outside this thing than in this thing. How does that keep happening? Everywhere I go, people would rather be outside the room I'm in than inside the room I'm in. I might start taking this personally. He didn't even wait. Usually he goes, good, Iowa, it's great people and patriots and all that shit, like the first 8 sentences off his speech. A lot of people outside, not a lot of people inside is what I meant to say.
People outside. We want to stay right here, and I want to thank you very much.
What? You don't want to go outside and talk to them? Are they protesters? What the shit? Wait.
Waterloo, thank you very much. It's great to be here, and a lot of people outside. A lot of people outside. We want to stay right here, and I want to thank you very much.
We don't want to see those people, the people who couldn't figure out how to get into a half-filled auditorium. Obviously, if they don't want to be in here, they're dangerous and they scare me. And I'm pooping again. Here it comes. We want to stay inside because I don't trust anyone.
This is an honor. We cover all corners of your great state. You know that.
That's his way of saying, like, where the fuck am I?
And they said, Waterloo, what about Waterloo? I said, we got to get to Waterloo.
Yeah, that's what you said. What about Waterloo? They said you got to get to Waterloo because your numbers are bullshit and we're fucked.
So here we are.
We're here, and all of the caucus people for us are in here. All the people who are going to back me in the caucus are in this room. And outside, there are more people.
Even outside, it's packed.
Who are going to vote for everyone else.
I'm thrilled to be back in your incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. Let me begin by wishing you all a very Merry Christmas.
Jesus Christ. He almost couldn't say the word Merry. Shit.
Thrilled to be back in
a very Merry Christmas.
Your incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. Let me begin by wishing you all a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry. It's like something where it goes in slow motion all of a sudden, and you just see the pie hurling through the air. I want to wish you all a very
You remember?
You remember when you couldn't say Merry Christmas? Yeah, we remember that bullshit, and it wasn't true.
Do you remember about 7 years ago, I said, they're going to be saying Merry Christmas again.
You've never been to Waterloo.
Because department stores, of course, they have other problems now. They're being robbed. The department stores right now, they have very big problems. 400 or 500 people run into them, grab everything, run out, nothing happens because our law enforcement.
Well, they're too busy yelling Merry Christmas. And the Christmas spirit is such that where everybody's going, wow, these people must really need these things. So I guess we can turn the other cheek and find the peace of the season. And as true worshipers of the one true Christ, can rest easy that all of this will be remedied and that we don't have to cast the first stone or any of that.
Not allowed to do their job. They're great. They're not allowed to do their job. So they have other problems too, but
not in Waterloo, dumb fuck. These people go to the store. Just say the part about Merry Christmas.
They say Merry Christmas now, at least. And
yeah, while they're being robbed. You can't really understand them because they're being kicked in the face and at the same time. So, but you know what? I just assume Merry Christmas.
It's very important.
Isn't it? It's very important to be here in Waterloo.
That was a big deal, and now nobody even thinks about it. We say,
glad you brought it up then.
Hey, Merry Christmas. I'm honored by that. We're just 27 days away from Iowa.
He saved Merry Christmas. He didn't save actual Christmas, because if you recall, during COVID, the single most fucked Christmas in decades.
It's first in the nation. Thank you very much, President Trump, because you're first in the nation because I said you were first in the nation. It's very simple. And the caucuses are a big deal on Monday,
They really are.
January 15th, we're going to win the Iowa caucuses, and then we're going to crush crooked Joe Biden next November. And we're going to very simply make America great again.
Oh, he almost didn't get America out. Make America great again. Also, this is the same fucking stump. I will just have to watch for any variances or it's wandering off. And I don't know, is he going to point at a front row Joe or a third row? Are there 8th row Joes at this fucking place? Is this place so small that it can only hold front row Joes?
Thank you. Thank you, Bessie.
Bessie? There's a cow there?
I want to thank a very special person. She stepped up very early and very strong, and she's highly respected. I think she's probably your most, we have to call everyone a politician, I guess, if you run for office. I think she's probably your most popular politician right now in Iowa. Brenna Bird, your Attorney General. Thank you, Brenna.
Yeah. You do realize if you're at a caucus meeting and basically you're just drumming up support, if they're the most popular person in the state, people will say their name before you finish the description.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you, darling.
She's been incredible.
Yeah, but that stops now.
A man who endorsed me before I was even running. I said, who's this guy from Iowa that keeps talking about Trump? And he's I call him the Marlboro man. He's a handsome guy. State Senator Brad Azan.
Azan. Oh, boy. This is going to be fucking rough. If he's having this much trouble talking this early in this shit, that's why they cut it short. That's why it's only an hour. That and it's fucking Waterloo.
Where's Brad?
No offense to Waterloo, by the way. I've done stand-up in towns this size, you know. Now, there's a difference when I do a show in a place like that. My show isn't free. So the crowd I get is, you know, people who've actually paid to be there. As opposed to, we ain't got nothing to do. Let's just wander over there and watch Trump do his own Between Two Ferns to himself.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you very much. He's been great. He was endorsing me before I ran. I said, who is that guy? But he was probably the first one.
Yeah, just like everybody else in that room.
One in the whole country. State representatives, Bobby Kaufman, who's fantastic, by the way. And his father's fantastic, too.
Well, that's good. Fantastic runs in the family. Must be genetic. It's the genes.
Derek Wolf, Craig Johnson, and, of course, Iowa GOP Chairman Jeff Kaufman. There's a slight relationship there.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, and a great job, and it's fantastic to be with.
It's great, fantastic, and they're fantastic, and I'm fantastic, and you're fantastic. This is fantastic, and my earpiece is dying, so I don't quite know what I'm supposed to say next, and someone stuck, I don't know, the word on the teleprompter says fantastic. If I look to that one or that one, they both say the same fucking word. I'm trapped in a world that's just fantastic.
With you, we'll be back a few more times.
Really? You can't just count on the support, or?
Believe it or not, we have that big day coming up. We'll be back. We got to be sure that we put this thing away. The poll numbers are scary because we're leading by so much. The key is you have to get out and vote because.
Yeah, that's not how caucuses, they do it in person. They stand there. It's fucking mob rule. New Hampshire's the one that, never mind.
You know, I tell it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get out and vote, we can put this to bed after Iowa, if you want to know.
If you don't get out and vote, you can put it to bed? Okay, so you heard him, people. None of you should show up to vote because that's how, and then then go to bed.
The truth. We can put it to bed for them, too. They can go home and forget it. But you have to go out. Don't sit home and say, you know, I think we'll take it easy, darling. It's a wonderful day, beautiful. Let's just take it easy, watch television. And
it's January in Iowa, dumb fuck. It's going to be fucking freezing.
Watch the results now because crazy things can happen. You got to.
Yeah. Like your internal polls.
Get at this is really important. Our country's at stake. We have a country that's never been in trouble like it is right now. So get.
Yeah, we had a civil war and a revolutionary war and Vietnam and the civil rights era was pretty rough or whatever. And obviously 9/11 was pretty difficult and led to a bunch of shit. And so I think we're okay comparatively. especially compared to the rest of the world. Yeah,
out and vote, whether we're leading in the polls or not leading in the polls. And
you're not. You're not. That's the thing. That's the part you're scared about, and that's why you're in fucking Waterloo.
in this case, we're leading by 30 to 40 points, I guess.
Yeah, so tell him to stay home. Hey, dummy. Just what you're supposed to say is, we're not losing, but you should act as if we are. You should show up, and because people will take advantage of any gaps that show, but you don't have to say we're leading by 20, 30 points, because I guarantee a bunch of these motherfuckers are going to go, it's snowing.
But we got to win. Maybe we can win by more than that. Because, you know, if we win in a massive number, but it's a little bit less than that, they'll say, oh, he didn't meet expectations. It was terrible.
You're already there, asshat. You're already there. You already have half the support you had when you left office. You dopey motherfucker. No, hold on.
Because they're fake news. We know that, you know. They're fake news. They are the biggest fakers in the world.
Really? Your campaign videographers are the biggest fakers in the world? He might have a point. He might actually have a point. Those are his cameras in the back of this fucking place.
During this holiday season, families all across America are struggling under the brutal weight of Crooked Joe's failures, disasters, heartless betrayals, and inflation.
And yet, they're shopping like never before.
While the stock market is making rich people richer, and I mean, it's crazy what's going on. Rich people
It is.
are getting richer.
And bend over, what?
Betrayals and inflation. While the stock market is making rich people richer, and I mean, it's
bend over and let me know. Oh, yeah.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
We're going to look at the stock market.
Crazy what's going on. Rich people are getting richer.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I'm a politician now, so we just keep chugging along, right?
Oh, you mean you're not rich anymore is what you're saying. You just keep chugging along. You're just going to keep pretending that you don't mean you.
But you're going to have a crash the likes of which you haven't seen because of what they're doing. It's going to be scary. Biden.
Yeah, it's going to be. It isn't now. And obviously everybody on Wall Street is like soft landing and going, where's the recession and all that. But right now he's running on the fumes of the Trump super winning.
Inflation catastrophe is demolishing your savings and ravaging your dreams.
Well, it's prices. I see egg prices in my nightmares.
Sky high energy prices, the highest we've ever had, are
no, not technically.
Brutalizing your wallets. Our border has been erased. Criminals are running wild in our Democrat-run cities, and thanks to Crooked Joe's breathtaking weakness, the world is going up in flames. The whole world is up in flames. You didn't.
It is. It's on fire. I think the fire started in Portland and then just spread to everywhere.
Have any of this stuff when I was president.
It's Iowa. They don't have anything of anything. They don't have any of anything.
Call and I'd say, you can't do that to the head of a country.
Is that what you said? You called and said, you can't do that. And they went, I'm sorry.
And they wouldn't do it. And Russia would have never done it. And Hamas would never have done it because Iran wouldn't have given them the money or had the money to do it. No.
They made the $6 billion that was given in the hostage exchange during Trump's waivers that allowed them to sell oil to South Korea. The money was being held in a South Korean bank. After the attacks by Hamas, the money wasn't even released. Not only did it not pay for this, it never even had a chance to.
Oh, it's very terrible what's going on.
It's very terrible.
Hard to believe, actually. Joe Biden and the
Yeah, it is hard to believe. Mainly because you're saying this stuff and it's garbage.
Democrat Party are incapable of solving any problems.
So unemployment being low is a problem.
Crooked Joe Biden is a low IQ individual. He is truly the worst, most incompetent, and most corrupt president.
And he kicked your ass. How's that feel?
In the history of our country. Other than that, I think quite a bit of him.
Jesus Christ. You gotta, it's gotta be sharper. You can't, other than that, I think quite a bit of him. Other than that, he's doing great. Other than that, what's not to like? You know what I mean? Yeah, like you gotta. I don't even know why I'm giving notes.
Can you believe what's going on in our country? Can you
Yes.
believe what's going on with the border? You watch, and the fake news doesn't want to show it too much. Certain of them, and
Certain of them.
I will tell you what's going on in our border.
Yeah, you just heard that right. He said duh. He actually used duh in a sentence.
In our country. Can you believe what's going on with the border? You watch, and the fake news doesn't want to show it too much. Certain of them, and I will tell you what's going on in our border. They're coming in by the millions, and we have no idea who they are.
Well, if you don't know who they are, how can you say they're coming from insane asylums and jails?
From all over the world. But with your vote this election,
I thought you knew exactly who they were. I thought they're being let out of prisons and dumped into the country. If you don't know who they are, then we're starting from scratch, obviously.
together we're going to save America, and we're going to bring our country back from hell. Our country's been in hell.
Is it? We're in hell? I thought we were on our way. I thought we were on the brink of the edge of the tubes of hell.
Not one thing has gotten better under
Not one thing. Everybody's still dying of COVID by the tens of thousands. Everybody's shut down. Nobody's in school. Churches are closed. Everything's on fire.
Joe Biden.
We still have 6% unemployment. The stock market's still at whatever, 2,800.
Under the Trump
28,000 rather.
administration, you were better off. Your family was better off. Your neighbors were better off. And
until your recession set in and you mismanaged COVID. And I mean, I guess maybe he's just talking directly to the super rich ag business people in Waterloo.
Country was better off. And you're also much safer when you had me behind the desk of the Oval Office.
Oh yeah? That whole summer of 2020, everything was good? There wasn't nothing popped off in the summer of 2020? You guys remember any? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think there was any major violence or anything like that happened during the Trump's time in office. Do you guys remember? I don't remember.
You were better off 5 years ago. Think of it. Just ask yourself, were you better off 5 years ago?
Notice how he stopped saying 3 years ago because that was COVID. And so now he's trying to go back to weren't you better off in early 2017 before any of my policies went into effect? He's getting so far back at this point that it's remember before I passed it, before the tax cut or any of that shit, when we were basically I was just phoning it in. Remember how good we were doing?
Were you better off today with the inflation, with bacon that costs you 4 times higher than you would have had to pay a little while ago?
They're in Iowa. Bacon's not very expensive.
Going up. Nobody's ever said anything like it.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
But what a difference a president.
By the way, this motherfucker's never shopped for groceries in his life. And I'll tell you, as the way he's trending south and Nikki Haley and the other ones are actually nipping at his heels, I would like to say for the record, we're going to see this dumb fuck in a grocery store looking at prices. And there's going to be this weird mix. He's going to have to do how they go to, remember when George H.W. Bush went to he saw the laser scanners for the first time? They're going to have a moment where Trump has to do this shit. Yeah, you need ID to buy bread. That's where he's going to finally confront that one.
A president makes a big difference.
Does he? I thought they don't do anything. I thought people just, yeah.
Joe Biden took over. We've had a 3-year inflation rate of over 20%.
Yeah. What's the rest of the world like? And is it linked to the total collapse of the world economy by COVID? Or did he just decide to come in and add a bacon surcharge on everything to pay for the Green New Deal?
Under my leadership, inflation was non-existent.
Yes, deflation was starting to happen because businesses were collapsing and none of us could go anywhere.
And we had gasoline at $1.87 a gallon.
Oh, it went down 2 cents since the last time he talked about it. And also, no one was driving. So I guess we should go back to Jimmy Carter's administration because I think gas was like 85 cents a gallon.
After 3 years
I guess we gave Jimmy Carter too much shit, right?
of Bidenomics, the average monthly mortgage has gone from $1,700 under my administration to $3,400 under this terrible administration.
Terrible. Of course, people bought bigger houses, and a lot of people, especially in the upper middle class, are working from home. So they bought bigger houses or had them built with an office. Don't ask me how I know that.
As long as Joe Biden is in the White House, the American dream is dead.
And don't let these Christmas trees fool you. They were left here from my administration. They've been standing here this whole time. They were dusty. We hosed them down.
It's dead. There is no American dream.
It is dead. And I'm saying this between two recently decorated Christmas trees.
But all of that will change the minute the polls close on election night 2024. It's going to all change.
Well, it can't, because even if you won and you're not going to, you won't be president until January. And by the way, I do say for his followers, that is true. Because when he loses, they're going to have to shift to, I don't need the government. I'm a proud American. I just make my own future. The renewal of the Trumpies will go from the like maggot snowflakes who need him in office or the country's in deep shit to these people who are like, I'm like the old frontier people. I don't need government done. I'm just going to be a success anyways.
The next economic boom will begin the instant the world knows that crooked Joe Biden is gone and Donald J. Trump and us, all of us together, have won 4 more years as president of the
he's not going to consult you guys. You know that.
United States. It's a very important thing because our country is really...
Is it in hell? Are we on the edge of hell? Are we at hell? Or is it hell?
It's a disaster. It's not...
It's just a disaster. Have you seen fucking Waterloo? It's a disaster. Look where I am. I'm Donald Trump. Why am I in Waterloo, Iowa? This is fucked up. Nobody here has gold leaf curlicue French furniture. Not anybody. We drove by like a thrift store. Ugh. What the hell is happening?
Not even believable what's happened to our country in a period of 3 years. Powered by the momentum of our historic victory by Christmas of next year. That's a couple of months later.
It's not a couple of months later. November, December. It's actually the next month. Depending on how long it takes to count the votes, which will be faster this time, it's be less than like a month and a half.
Christmas of next year, the economy will be roaring back. Energy.
You mean while Joe Biden's still president?
Energy prices will be plummeting.
Why?
Hordes of people charging across our border will have totally ended. The invasion.
How you wait? If the Democrats are trying to change the face of America and they're just open borders all over the place, and you think that the minute you win, suddenly people are not going to cross the border, or that it's just going to stop instead of like a bum rush. Why, if everything you say is true about Joe Biden, why wouldn't they just do like a mass citizenship thing in like 3 weeks? Honestly.
Stop.
This is just dumb.
And I heard somebody today say,
oh dear.
One of these genius analysts, the stock market's good, the rich get richer, but the stock market's good because they think Trump is going to win the election.
What? You think that's it's not them listening to the Fed and believing the Fed is going to stop their interest rate rises and that they're going to bring them back down and that the economy is cooling based on it being overheated and they're making their giant financial $1 trillion decisions because you're coming in at 50% in the Iowa caucus.
And I believe that's true.
That's because you're a fucking maniac.
And whatever good they have right now is the fumes of what we left them. It's coming off the fumes.
If it's the fumes, then where'd the inflation come from? Why isn't the inflation the fumes? What are you talking about? You don't get to have the fumes after 3 years of the economy being... You can't shit on the entire economy and go, the only reason things are great is because they're enjoying the leftovers that I left on the counter to rot.
Fumes of what we've left them.
Uh-huh. Here's your fumes. I get your fumes right here.
But the stock market is good because a lot of people think we're going to win the election. So,
and God knows that a volatile stock market really makes decisions a year out.
that's an interesting fact. I felt that.
It's not a fact. It's an opinion, and it's bullshit. And I don't even know who you're like. He started off saying that whoever he was like making fun of the person. One of these geniuses said, and then he realized it was a good thing. Because he was just assuming it was going to be bad because it's in his teleprompter.
I didn't want to say it, but I think we will say it. Because just like 3 years ago, they will know that I will catch. And when you have people that are pouring across the border at levels like...
nobody's ever seen before?
No country has ever seen, not us.
All right, sure. No country.
No country has ever seen. Third world nations have never seen. They'd stop them with...
gunfire?
Sticks and stones, I say.
Oh, because that's what makes them a third world country. You know, a lot of third world countries have Kalashnikovs because your buddy Putin dumped them on that. Never mind.
But they'll know that I'll catch them and we'll send them home, and the entire world will be safer and more peaceful because everyone will know that the days of Biden surrenders are over. So many mistakes. There's been nothing good that's happened. Nothing
good.
What good has happened in the last?
You mean the infrastructure bill or the wages going up or the narrowing of the gap between both men and women and minorities and whites in the country as far as unemployment, and the lowest sustained unemployment rate in 50 years, and us having a stronger, more like resilient economy than anybody on earth?
Last 3 years.
Yeah, obviously. And you can't even go to a baseball or you can't even go to a football game because nobody can go outside, and it's terrible. Also, Black Friday. I don't know if you're going to go. Black Friday was biggest on record.
Our country's gone to hell.
Citation needed.
As soon as I get back in the Oval.
Yeah, Kate says student loan debt. Yeah, he'll consider that an example of the country going to hell. We're forgiving student loan debt.
Office, I'll also immediately end the war on Christians.
By Catholics?
I don't know if you feel it.
No, they kind of don't, I guess.
You have a war. There's a war.
Is there? There's a war on Christians? Really? Kind of like there's a war on poverty, and ever since we've had the war on poverty, poverty went up. Or the war on drugs, which also increased the drug supply. Just can't... is it wrong that I want a war on hot, naked women? Because apparently they'd be all over the place, considering the record of the war on ...
Under crooked Joe Biden, Christians and Americans of faith are being persecuted, and government has been weaponized against religion like never before, and also presidents like never before.
Like never at all.
Here I am.
Here I am. And obviously, I'm not a Christian, so there's they're going after two categories of people. People who go to church and people who think people who go to church are stupid. So, okay. Did you think it ever occurs to them that everybody in this room, or even a majority of them in a place like Waterloo, most of them went to church on Sunday? Fuck, most of them, are going to church, because I think this is from last night, are going to church tonight, Sunday and Wednesday.
I always say Al Capone was treated better than I was treated. Scarface.
No, he wasn't.
Al Capone, he was a tough one. Biden and his corrupt department.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad he's truncated that stupid fucking...
Department of Injustice have sent...
Yeah, the PACT Act passing and the CHIPS Act, definitely, I would call those good. Yeah, we're out of Afghanistan. Everybody's throwing it in. There's a war on Labor Day.
Teams to arrest pro-life activists. They've targeted conservative parents at school board meetings who don't want filth taught to their children.
Filth. That's filth. It's filth. That's all this is. It's filth. They don't want it taught to their children. They just want their children to be able to spend the weekend at Mar-a-Lago, where Jeffrey Epstein may or may not still be alive and living in my attic.
It's filth. What they're teaching in schools is filth.
It's filth? Is it? Is it filth? Is it filth, though?
And nonsense.
Oh, filth and nonsense. That's the problem with some filth, is I can't make head or tail of it, you know? I like my filth, very, like, easy to understand, kind of paint by numbers filth. That's what I like. Filth, flarn, filth.
And we can't let that happen.
We can't let nonsense and filth.
But they're being targeted. And now the communists, Marxists, and fascists are going hard after Catholics, even plotting to send spies into Catholic churches. It's all come out.
It's all come out. Yeah, there are no Catholic churches. They're gone. I don't know if is there anybody Catholic in here who's like, it's the holidays and you're like, they're gonna go visit the grandparents and like they're gonna go to church and you're like, oh no, go to Christmas mass, and like, nope, they don't have it. So the government targeted us, so we're doing it underground this year. Look for a manhole cover with a cross on it.
Just like in the Soviet Union from days gone by. No.
Days gone by. In days gone by.
Think of it. If you're
I'm thinking of
Catholic, why would you vote for a Democrat?
You mean a Catholic Democrat like Joe Biden?
They're doing to Catholics.
Ugh, what are they? Oh, tell me about it. What happened to the Catholics?
I don't know what's going on with the Catholics.
I don't either. I thought you were going to tell me. Obviously, it sounds bad, but I don't even fucking know. I don't know.
But they're really being persecuted. Why
are they now?
would you vote for Biden, and why would you vote
because he's a Catholic?
for a Democrat? A new report from the House Judiciary Committee proves that the Biden FBI actually targeted Catholics as potential domestic terrorists. Do you believe this? And
no, not really. I mean, there was very distinct pro-life organizations that were infiltrating Catholic churches in an attempt to basically use the churches as cover.
You know, evangelicals will not be far behind, because when that starts, it starts happening on a very major scale.
It does, yeah. Like, I mean, they've already done it. The Catholics are gone now. The evangelicals are clearly next.
When I'm back in the White House, never again will your government be used to target Christians and other religious believers.
Even Muslims? Somehow, I don't believe you. Except Muslims. Don't forget, that's okay.
Upon taking office, I will create a new federal task force on fighting anti-Christian bias, to be led by a fully reformed Department of Justice that's fair and equitable.
Fairness and equity. Oh, that's good. So he's going to do like DEI, like Opus DEI. That's his plan. I've got a new thing. It's called Opus DEI. It's going to be a pro-Catholic diversity, equity, and inclusion thing that's run mostly by excommunicated Catholic priests that know Alan Dershowitz personally. And
its mission will be to investigate all forms of illegal discrimination, harassment, and...
Oh, so you're going to form a committee, a government committee? Is that what you're going to do? Mr. Small Government? You're just going to form a committee of investigators and spend taxpayer money to go after something that's going to stop anyways, to see who did it, even though it would be, I guess, frankly obvious that it didn't happen. But
persecution against Christians in America. They are going after Christians in America. Who's can believe all this stuff?
I don't believe it. I think, you know who? Those dipshits in that increasingly shrinking crowd in front of you. That's it. And the reason there are more people outside than inside is because those people outside don't fucking believe this nonsense.
It's not believable, is it?
No, it isn't. It's not believable. He's narrating his own lies at this point.
But it is fact. It's just Just like so many of the other things, when I stand up and I say that we will stop, and I've said it, we will stop men from participating in women's sports. I mean, the whole thing that you have, no, but things that you say that you can't believe you're up here and saying it. We are
Yes, we understand. You have a hard time believing what's coming out of your mouth.
for parental rights. You have to say that. No, think of it. We are for parental rights. Who believes that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, who would ever have to say a thing like that? We're for parental rights. Of course we're for parental rights. But the Democrats aren't. They're
So if a parent feels like they should, it should be their right to drop their kid off at Jeffrey Epstein's house, that parent should have a right to do that. You believe in parental rights. If parents want to arrange a child marriage for their daughter to a man your age, you're for parental rights. If parents adopt someone when they're in their teens and insist they be circumcised and that they do it in the home themselves, are you for parental rights?
fascists. They're not. They want school boards. They want people to
What? School boards? When did this shit happen?
take your children and do things with your children that are not even speakable.
Well, I mean, you're the president. You'd have to speak about it, I would think. You know, the president's going to have to talk to somebody.
Americans of faith are not a threat to our country. Americans of faith are the soul of our country, and they have been from the beginning. I will defend religion, and I will defend In God We Trust. We will defend In God We Trust, which is...
That's the new Merry Christmas.
And you know that very important phrase is under siege. You do know that, right? We will
No, it isn't.
defend it 100%. When Joe Biden lit the national Christmas tree earlier this month, he completely failed to even mention the birth of Jesus Christ, which is hard to do if you're celebrating Christmas, right?
I don't know. You've managed to do it every single time. Explain to me, tell me the story. Tell you what, pause. Tell me what happened. I would love to hear Donald Trump off the top of his fucking dome tell us the story of Jesus Christ and something about a manger and three wise men and North Star, and I'm going to give him too many clues.
He didn't mention Jesus Christ in his remarks. Not for 3 years he hasn't mentioned that, and barely mentioned God. When I was president,
Barely mentioned God.
we brought back the beautiful phrase, Merry Christmas.
It's weird that he doesn't say the words that you want him to say, but he goes to church every weekend. He goes to Mass every Sunday. Huh.
And I said I'd do that. I'm
That he can, I suppose. I'm certain that as president, there's some Masses he has missed.
very proud of that, actually, because as I said at the beginning, it was really under siege. And when I lit the Christmas tree each year, it was my honor to publicly celebrate the true source of Christmas joy, which is Jesus Christ.
One second. Straighten this out.
And let's light the tree. First Lady will do the honors. We'll do it 10 in reverse. Are you ready? All together. 10, 9.
10 in reverse. We'll do it together.
Merry Christmas, everybody. We just
Merry Christmas. Yeah, you know.
have to say it all together. Merry Christmas. It's great to be with you. And let's light the tree. First Lady will do the honors. We'll do it 10 in reverse. Are you ready?
You mean a countdown? 10 in reverse.
All
Motherfucker.
together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Is it a red wire or a blue wire?
1. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
That's it. Okay, so here's the longer one. Let's see if he...
Lastly, it is my high honor to introduce a man who has made America strong and safe again.
Thank you very much. And Ryan, I want to thank you for doing such a beautiful job all throughout the season. And welcome, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Hold on, I'm going to open this in this guy.
Merry Christmas. Special time of the year.
Special time. It says it right here on the paper.
Lonnie and I are thrilled to be here today as we celebrate one of the nation's most cherished traditions, the lighting of the National Christmas Tree.
Is he out of breath?
Tonight's ceremony is only possible because of the
Only possible because a Middle Eastern monotheistic religion made its way up into the indigenous pagan religions of the Europeans and co-opted the a lot of the traditions around that, including Saint Nick himself and the tree itself and all these aspects of it, and just got sort of sucked up in that.
hard work of the many talented individuals.
The many talented wise men who've come here from afar.
They were working late at night. They were working early in the morning.
They were working in the morning, making Christmas trees. We were working in the evening, making Christmas. All right.
They were working all the time, and
they're working all like elves. They're short, little, they're green. About
sincere thanks to everyone at the National Park Service.
Service is cold.
And the National Park Foundation. Thank
He's got bus stop lips right now. That's who here hasn't gotten the bus stop lips when you're a kid? So the bus will be here in a second.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And let me also extend my deep appreciation to all of tonight's wonderful entertainers. There's great talent. They're going on to big things, many of them. I've seen them, and they are something very special. Thank you very much. That was a great
this motherfucker's the Simon Cowell of the Christmas tree lighting ceremony.
job tonight. And this includes one very special group that is top.
Mary and her husband, Joseph, who really did the heavy lifting.
Billboard charts multiple times. The Dominican sisters, who I met backstage from Ann Arbor, Michigan. And a very special recognition to the students who designed stunning ornaments to decorate 56 different Christmas trees here in
all blood red, like stalactites from hell.
President's Park. Thank you, students. I hear you out there. Thank you very much. And when they were doing the 56 trees, they were one for each state and the territories in our magnificent country. We have
territories.
Truly a great, great country.
We have a lot of territories.
Very proud of it, and we love it deeply.
We love all the territories.
For Christians all across our nation, around the world, this is a sacred season that begins 2,000 years ago when Jesus Christ was born.
I just found this out. A lot of people don't know he was a Republican. And
an angel declared to the shepherds tending their flocks, "Behold, I bring you good tidings, great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord."
it says it right here. I don't know if you've seen this.
There in Bethlehem, Mary and Joseph held in their hands the Son of God, the light of the world, and through him the promise of eternal salvation. No matter one's faith or beliefs, the Christmas season reflects all that is best in the American spirit. This is a time of the year for rejoicing with our family and friends.
Yeah, and wait till you see what happens next year. Barf, barf.
for spreading charity and goodwill in our commitment all over this country, in all of our
commitment all over this country.
communities, and for giving thanks for all of the blessings in our lives. We are
That's Thanksgiving, but okay.
especially thankful for the countless Americans who have given their time and passion to help those in need. Here in the audience today are a number of extraordinary foster families
Forester families. These are people who live in the forest year-round.
and guardians joined by the beautiful children they have welcomed into their homes, and beautiful children they are.
I went and checked all their lips and I looked at their teeth and
Your
everything.
devotion inspires us all to every child in foster care. You are
In foster care?
the precious loved one and gift of God. Thank you.
You are the precious loved one and gift of God. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I managed to say that sentence. It doesn't make any sense, but the words came out.
Very, very special. At this time of the year, we renew the bonds of affection between our fellow citizens, and we awaken the faith in our hearts that calls each of us to action. As we gather loved ones,
Yeah, charity.
our thoughts
Like the or what the Ayn Randians call sucker bait.
turn to those who are rebuilding their lives after devastating wildfires, destructive hurricanes, and terrible tragedy.
Mostly caused by a Sharpie gone awry.
We are one American family. We hurt together. We heal together.
What a bunch of commie bullshit.
And we will always pull through together. This is the United States of America. We're the best in the world, and there's nobody close.
Which is, nothing says Christmas like, we rule and suckers drool.
Tonight we honor the first responders.
All right, so that was what his stuff was. It was like this perfunctory read.
As president, I kept every promise I made to Christians and more, and I think everybody in this room understands that very well. That's pretty
Yeah, but that's because Christians are used to like any day now promises.
well documented. In our first 4 years, we appointed nearly 300 federal judges and 3 great
And none of them are bailing me out. What the fuck?
Supreme Court justices. I stood up for religious liberty at home and all around the world.
No, he didn't. He abandoned like Coptic Christians and Yazidis and fucking Kurds.
protected innocent life, and I defended the Judeo-Christian values of our nation's founding.
Which would be, what would be those values? Just list just a couple. I don't need all of them.
I proudly recognized Israel's eternal capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem, which is a big thing.
Yeah, it's one of the trigger points. It's almost, you could time Hamas's plan of the October 7th attack to that date, dumbass.
I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and
Yeah, that didn't help
you know,
either.
they were looking to get that for 72 years.
And then weird that right after you did that, Hamas would start this like
They'd fly
really
in,
evil
they'd fly
plan.
out, they'd fly in, every year they'd fly in, they'd discuss it, they'd fly out. And I got it done in about 12 minutes. We got it done very quickly. And with the historic Abraham Accords, I even made peace in the Middle East. Unfortunately, they haven't taken it any further.
Literally, the Biden administration was bringing Saudi Arabia into this fold, which is a genuine peace accord between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And in the process of doing it, that's what triggered part of Iran as well.
Could have been taken. We could have had everybody signed up.
Everybody.
It's no wonder crooked Joe Biden and the far-left lunatics are desperate to stop us by any means necessary.
That's not true. Do you have any idea how many means are available? They're not using any of them on you, dum-dum.
They're willing to violate the U.S. Constitution at levels never seen before in order to win this election. Joe
Well, I mean, you did attack the fucking Capitol.
Biden is a threat to democracy. It's a threat.
Gee, I think that whole threat to a democracy thing hit a nerve.
They're weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference because we're beating them so badly in the polls.
Yeah, that's why you're in Waterloo.
The new
Trying desperately to cling to winning the Iowa caucuses, which you might lose.
CBS poll, remember I always used to talk about polls, but only if they were good. I don't mention them if they were bad. I had a tendency, if they were bad, I didn't talk about them, right? I don't know. That's probably sort of like a little bit like the fake news would do.
Yeah, it's kind of exactly what you accuse other people of doing.
So I feel very embarrassed by it. But the new CBS poll just out has us at...
Oh, by the way, remember what I told you about him not having any shame, but he can feel embarrassment? You're welcome.
58% of the state with the sanctimonious, 40 points behind us, 40 points.
You're not going to bring up Nikki Haley? Or I suppose he will.
The new Morning Console poll, that's in your state. The Console poll has us at 66% nationwide, with DeSantis
Nationwide?
at 11% and Haley at 11%.
You're talking about nationwide polls? You're not talking about the Iowa polls? Why are you leaving those out for some reason? That's kind of weird.
And then they said Haley is surging because she went from 9 to 11. I went up 7 points. She went up 2 points. And it's harder to go up 7 when you're almost at the top. There's not that many
You're almost at the
points
top.
left. So I went up
That's interesting.
7. She went up 2. And the headline was, Haley is surging because she caught the sanctimonious. The Fox poll has us trouncing the primary field at 69%, with DeSantis at 13% and Haley at 9%. And, you know, it's sort of interesting. He did an
Sort of interesting how you are using 6-week-old polls now.
interview the other day, and the announcer, this was sort of a straight interview at a major network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to have Governor Ron DeSantis with us. No, it's DeSantis. So that's good branding. Do you agree? That's good. Nah, but he is sanctimonious. In the new
What the fuck is that?
Rasmussen poll of the general
Is honest to God, is the one thing Republican voters hate more than anything else is someone being sanctimonious?
election, we're dominating by 10, 11, 12, even 14 points. And the Washington Post had it up 11, and then they said, oh, this must be an outlier. They spend $1.5 million on a poll. The Washington
By the way, he spent $1.5 million on a poll.
Post, and they panic. They say, this must be an outlier. This is the first time anyone ever had a poll, and they said, we think our poll must be wrong, but we have even better numbers than that. No, they're going crazy. But none of this matters if you don't show up to support us.
Yeah, everyone will notice that the polls don't mean shit and people can't vote twice. And the same people are getting phone calls that got phone calls last time and it didn't break your way. Right.
On January 15th and again on November 5th. So it's, again, the same thing. You got to show up. Even if you think we're going to win by a lot, you got to show up, because winning by a lot is
yeah, a lot. You want to win by a lot.
very meaningful. Even as countries watch from afar.
I understand it, Ellery. I appreciate that. I understand. Love you. It's all right.
Never have any of these problems if I were president. But when they see the kind of support that we have incredible support. We have more support than
Yeah, you got a diaper. You've got the sock garters on.
we did in 2020.
He's the only man who wears suspenders on his diaper in case it gets so full it starts to droop.
20 or 2016, and we did great. We won 2016, and then we did even better by a lot, by millions and millions of votes in 2020. It was a rigged election. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election of
I'd like to remind you there are Christmas trees on either side of him.
2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. We're not going to allow it.
What exactly? If allegedly they rigged them last time and you couldn't stop them and you were the fucking president, how would you stop them now?
Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict
That's a big group. That's a big group of people.
me, I consider it actually a great badge of honor. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you
Yeah, he doesn't mean it.
very much.
Yeah, you can tell by his face. He's like, I love this. It's great. I consider it a good thing.
Because I'm being indicted for you. Never
Yeah, you fuckers.
forget Our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. I'm not going to let them do it.
This is his speechwriters trying to attempt a kind of you have nothing to fear but fear itself line.
They want to silence me because
I will never let them silence you.
I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me. They're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will stand in their way.
Yeah, it's funny how they'll never get around to getting these other people because you're always in the way. They're always going after you. Yeah.
And, you know, I've been saying this a lot lately because
because what else are you going to say?
See the kind of crowds. We go up to these large areas. We come out to the rural outside. It's packed areas. No matter where we go, we have packed houses, packed.
Yeah, but, you know, obviously.
Even outside, it's packed.
Outside is always more crowded than inside.
Houses, some of them. We filled up an arena last time.
Yeah, so you shouldn't feel bad that you're in a half-empty gymnasium right now because, trust me, in other places that aren't Waterloo, huge crowds.
Massive arena. We had.
Oh, yeah, it was big. Like, obviously, there was a UFC fight going on at the time, but still.
Thousands of people outside couldn't get in.
Right, and didn't want to.
Brad was there. They couldn't get in.
That's because, would you have a restraining order?
He got in. We almost said, keep him out. Let's keep him out, right?
Why?
No, he's always going to be invited. This is far more
well, yeah, there's always going to be room. So
than a campaign. This is the greatest political movement in the history of our country.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. This is a great political movement.
Yes, it's the greatest bowel movement in the history of politics.
It's not just a campaign.
No, it's not a campaign. If it loses, it's because the movement died. It's not my fault. It's your fucking fault.
And together we will once again fight for Iowa families and Iowa farmers, just as we did 4 straight years. We fought for you. We've done more for the state of Iowa than any president ever in history. There's never been because when you add it all up, what we've done, unlike crooked.
He means money. He means because he started the whole, he fucked their entire crop sale for like a year and a half. And so he's like, but I paid you guys. I threw money your way. I gave you government subsidies.
Joe, who wants to dramatically increase the estate tax, or the death tax as they call it. I virtually eliminated the unfair death tax, saving countless farms and families and
farms from family farms where they apparently, and who could even believe this, they put people in the ground and grow families. These are family farms. And who could believe such a thing? That this is even possible? Who could even think that this kind of thing would even happen?
Families of farmers, they love their children. They leave their farm to the children. And
they leave their farmer to the children.
The tax was so incredible that the children would often have to file bankruptcy because they had to go borrow money to pay the estate tax or the death tax.
Jesus Christ. Like, there's been so much stuff in like the farm bill and all this, like to deal with this particular thing about passing farms down over the years. This is ridiculous. But Republicans stick to it because they want it to apply to this motherfucker. Rich assholes are trying to like hide their wealth before they kick.
And I eliminated that tax. I eliminated. So now you can leave. If you love your children, if you don't love your children, then I haven't done that much for you. But some people love their children. Does everybody in this room love their children? I do.
You love their children?
Does anybody in this room not love their children? Raise your hand. Oh, that guy in the blue jacket raises his hand. But no, it's very important because people were going to the heirs. You know, you inherit a farm, you have a 40.
By the way, he always picks somebody out and they didn't raise their. This is so fucking lame.
50% tax to pay, and they fight with you over the tax, and they end up going to the bankers. The banks just have been so bad. Not the
they're so
local
bad.
Bank. There's some of these big banks have been.
Yeah, the local banks are great, especially the ones that are collapsing. But the big banks, ugh. Like Deutsche Bank, don't get me started.
Horrible people.
Horrible people that won't give me any money to bail out my buildings.
Running them. But, you know, the banks, they loan the money and they end up taking over the farm. We're not doing that. So we ended the estate tax, and farms and small businesses now, they don't have to go into hock and end up losing everything. And the
Fuck.
Parents are very happy about that. They're looking down and they're saying, I'm so happy. I love President Trump, because that was a big...
Yes, there's a lot of dead people who were Trump voters because of COVID, largely.
It was a big thing. I ended the NAFTA disaster, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the USMCA, the best trade deal ever made.
Bullshit before.
And that was a giant win for Iowa farmers. I took on the communist Chinese like no administration in history. Communist China.
Yeah, tell us about Communist China, the company that you sucked up to, or the country that you sucked up to, and your daughters suddenly got a bunch of trademarks all of a sudden, and you were having, right after you had cake with the leader or some shit?
Was doing a number on the farmers.
Were they?
And you know it better than anybody.
Oh, yeah? No, they weren't. You were in a tariff pissing match with the Chinese about a bunch of other shit that had nothing to do with farm goods, and the farmers were a casualty.
Bringing hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury when no other president had gotten 10 cents from China. Nobody had ever brought in any money. I brought in hundreds of billions of...
Yeah, I don't know where he gets this either. Like, even Obama had, like, steel tariffs on China that were enormous.
Dollars from China. In fact, China's not now doing very well, and a lot of people think it was because of what I did with respect...
No, nobody thinks that.
To all of the hundreds of billions I...
It might be the CHIPS Act, you dumb fuck.
...brought in. And Biden is unable to cancel it because it's so much money that it's having a hard time canceling. It's hard to say, oh, gee,
You mean because they didn't try?
let's not do that for hundreds of billions of dollars. And then I gave the farmers $28 billion straight out of the tariffs I took in from China, a large part of which
I bought your votes, you greedy, lazy fucks.
came right back to the state of Iowa, right?
No. As a matter of fact, like 2 Brazilian brothers got a huge chunk of the money that went to Montana, which was like the lion's share of it went to big ag business.
That's why my people...
And a lot of it wasn't even American.
In the back, you know, my great genius is, sir, please don't say that too often, because you sound very conceited when you say that you guarantee that Iowa is going to vote for you. You guarantee Iowa. I said, I got him $28 billion, of course. Who else is going to get him $28 billion? I said, go out and buy more land and larger tractors. Do you remember that? But you know what? They stuck.
Right. And what happened? Did they do that, and then all of a sudden Joe Biden got in and they couldn't sell their goods to anyone? Is that what happened? Or did they just go back to selling the amount that they made like they did before?
Because we had a period of 6 or 7 months with China. You know, the great negotiators, they were playing hardball, but we ended up winning, and we made a trade deal with China. I don't even talk about it because of COVID, but we made one of the greatest
Yeah, I don't even talk about it except when I'm talking about
trade
it.
deals ever made. They buy
It's the greatest. I don't talk about the greatest thing ever.
$50 billion worth of product,
which they did not buy.
From this country. And
not even close.
And they were buying nothing before that. They were buying
bullshit. They import. Why would the fucking farmers be losing their sales to China if there never had been any in the first fucking place? If the farmers in Iowa weren't selling a shit ton of soybeans to China, which is exactly what they're talking about, what did they lose? Why were you paying them off for shit that they weren't selling in the first place?
Buying nothing. So it was an amazing thing that happened. And
yeah, it was like they instantly started buying food because they have to.
It's an honor to have done it. And I do believe I could say that, but I won't say it. I will not say that because my people have said. So I will not guarantee it. But I pretty much guarantee it, okay? Let's vote against Trump because he gave us $28 billion. I don't know. Somehow they got a problem with that one, don't they? Huh? The people that are running against us and who, frankly...
Asshole, you were talking about your staff. This started out as a Sir story, dipshit.
Frankly, we're not in favor of farmers. You know, Ron DeSanctimonious was not a friend of the farmer. He fought against the Farm Bill. He fought against ethanol hard, very hard. Now all of a sudden he loves ethanol. About 2 weeks ago it started, right? No one gets abused on trade worse than American agriculture, yet
shit.
no other president lifted a finger for you. Nobody
Look,
lifted
Karma.
a finger for you in Iowa, nobody. Under my leadership, we will have a great rebirth of loyalty to the American farmer and loyalty to the American flag.
So what? Farmers just put flags on their trucks, and all of a sudden, nobody notices that they only sell what they make or what they grow to China in particular. What?
And I'm going to pass something that's so important. We were just about
A kidney stone?
set to do that. We had the greatest economy in history. We're just about set, and then we hit.
Oh, sorry. I real quick. This is for. I got to put that up there because Edwin in our chat asked for that. He wanted me to put this up. So I thanks. Thanks. Well spotted, Edwin. I'm sorry I took that down.
COVID came, a gift from China, from Wuhan. I told them it came from the Wuhan lab. I said it right from the beginning. I never changed. Trump.
Well, yeah, because the Obama-Biden administration stopped gain of function, and you restarted it, and then you cut the security funding money for the lab, and then magically, within about a year and a half, shocking.
You ever see the hats? Trump was right about everything. Some of the things I don't want to be right about, like I think our country's in more. The past wasn't that long danger ago. Now for World War III than ever before. I don't want to be right about that, but we have a.
But it's Christmas, so
man who's grossly
you got to say it.
Incompetent, and he's talking about nuclear weapons and negotiations. He doesn't even know what the hell he's talking. He can't even find the stairs to get off the stage. All right. There they are. There they are. They're all over the place. Jump off the front, but don't walk into the back wall. You ever see that? He finishes a speech, if you call it that.
What do you call this?
He did a news conference the other day, and he goes, okay, let's see. You know, I did news conferences in the White House. You. He did.
Yeah, you mean the one where you said, you know, you get a light bulb up your ass and drink some bleach and you'll be fine and COVID will go away with the sun?
Jim Jones of NBC? Oh, is he here? Oh. The guy says, Mr. President, what about this? What about that? What about that? I would like to tell you the following. He's reading the answer, meaning he knows the questions and they write down the answer. He reads the answer.
Yeah, no.
If I ever did that.
You might give a cohesive, intelligent answer somehow. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you for that. I forget that part. Should we take a look at this real quick? Because this will be a good one for Edwin asked for this in the chat room. So we're gonna throw this way. What happened with that?
Mr. President, Anthony Fauci, did he ever once mention to you that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was genetically manipulating coronaviruses?
Well, no, he didn't. And, you know, Anthony's been in government for many, many years. He's a bureaucratic kind of a guy, a very great promoter. I give him an A+ as a promoter and probably a C or a D as a doctor.
Yeah, he's the Don King of self-promotion.
We now know from emails that have been released under the Freedom of Information Act that he was getting his advice from the likes of Peter Daszak, a Wuhan collaborator. At the same time, he was telling you that this was a natural virus, while at the same time, behind the scenes in emails, he was having discussions about whether this might have been genetically manipulated. Does that shock you?
Or did he actually tell you exactly what he said and you hit it?
Well, he was dealing with them, certainly. And my thing was a little bit different. I just wanted to stop it. Whether it developed one way or the other, I just wanted to stop it.
Yeah.
But it's important to know where it came from. It's extremely important to know how it developed.
Fauci was dealing with them, and I guess they were even making payments for certain kinds of research. And I ended that, too. I stopped that. When we found out about that, he was doing that during the Obama years. And when I found out about it, I said, can you imagine that the United States is making payments to a Chinese lab? So
Yeah, for security. But that's interesting.
just that on its face didn't make sense, but I stopped that.
You stopped the security payments to make sure that the security standards there were lax. Okay.
The Obama administration did hit pause on gain-of-function research, though, and that was lifted under your watch.
Wink bonk. Ring bonk.
Why did you allow the gain-of-function research to continue?
Yeah, why did you, is it just because it had fucking Obama's name on it?
Well, I think probably people that worked for me looked at it, and
Yeah, those fuckers. Probably Democrats that work for me. You know, hashtag the best people.
at one point they might have done that, but
They might have.
ultimately
They did, but they might have also.
what we did was we shut it off. We shut the whole thing off, and we stopped making payments that were approved much earlier than our administration.
Do you regret now not paying closer attention? I mean, this gain-of-function research is extremely risky, you know, banned under the Obama administration and then kick-started in 2017 under your watch.
Ouch. That's yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Isn't that an interesting detail that you wish more maggots knew? And that the only funding he actually cut was the security funding that was supposed to make sure that nothing leaked out of this lab?
Yeah, no, I think we've done an incredible job between the vaccine and between all of the Operation Warp Speed.
It's by the way, it's Operation Fart Steed after all. Captain's log.
I think we did a great job, and people.
Yeah, it might occur to you, though, that you wouldn't have had to do, quote unquote, such a great job with Operation Fart Steed and the vaccine if you hadn't allowed gain of function research to continue at the lab you cut the security funding for. Dumb fuck. But, you know, I'm sure that the maggots who are watching are very excited to see this, and they like the fact that this information is finally coming out in a way that they can understand and, you know, they can get a grip with. Yeah, so, yeah, it's good stuff.
They would impeach me a third time.
Maybe for allowing gain of function research to continue again. Weird.
They would impeach me a third. We beat them twice.
No, you lost.
You know, the impeachment, then they found out I was right. They were all saying we really shouldn't have impeached him. But
No, they're not. They really aren't. No one said that.
actually, the Republicans, and Jim Jordan's great, and Jamie is doing a great job.
Such a great job. He's doing so well.
But the Republicans are being much nicer because they're saying, let's do an inquiry first. They didn't do an inquiry with me.
They didn't have to. There was already enough evidence.
I walk in, they impeached me. So these are bad people, bad people. I will
Jim and Jamie Comer? Yeah, sure.
pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. So that means if China or any other country make us pay a 100% or 200% tariff, which they do, we will make them pay a reciprocal tariff, identical tariff of 100 to 200% right back. We'll take in billions and billions.
Yeah, and meanwhile, we won't buy, the cost of U.S. goods everywhere else will skyrocket, and we will lose all of our trade partners in Europe and everywhere else that have smaller markets and need stabilizing tariffs. Otherwise, they would be completely swamped by bigger markets like us. This is fucking dumb.
Now, what will happen is they'll end the tax. You know,
No, they won't. They can't afford to.
they'll end the tax. But we're all set to get that. We would have had that quickly. I will revoke China's most favored nation trade status, and we will impose stiff penalties on China and other trade abusers because they abuse us. But many people abuse us on trade and
Yeah, they do. But we like it. You know what I mean? We like the spankings.
even the military. At the same time, I will end Joe Biden's war on American energy, and we will, ready? Drill, baby, drill. We will.
Why do you get to quote Sarah Palin, who singularly might be responsible for why John McCain lost the election? Why do you think this is a good idea, dum-dum?
Drill.
Great. He's a grown man. What the fuck? Run that by me again?
Biden's war on American energy, and we will, ready? Drill, baby, drill. We will drill.
Do you think it's a hand pump?
We'll put straws in the ground and we'll have oil coming up. We have more oil than anybody. Oil.
Straws in the ground. I had no idea he was more qualified to be on an oil and gas board than Hunter Biden.
Oil and gas, we have more than any other country in the world. And, you know, we took it from 4th place to 1st place in just a short period of time. We were going to make so much money. We were making so much.
And by the way, that's from natural gas that started under the Obama administration.
We're energy independent. Think of that.
We still are.
Gas prices, oil prices down so low. Record numbers in some cases, but down
because no one was driving
so low
in the entire world, including China, which was the biggest market.
And we were going to sell it all over the world, fill up our strategic reserve, which I was doing very cheaply by comparison to what they're doing now. He used the money just to have a better election. He used a lot of the money. It's drained. It's the lowest point it's ever been right now. I think they've been refilling it lately. Whenever it hits 70 or lower, and I think it's back to 75. But let's see. Because the hard part is that they let's see. Yeah, there we go. U.S. buys there you go. Hold on 1 second. I'll drag this down for you. U.S. buys 2 million barrels of oil for strategic petroleum reserve. I'm sorry, you can't see that behind Trump and his flying buddy. U.S. bought 2.1 million in crude. Let's see. The Energy Department said on Tuesday to help replenish the strategic oil reserve at 74, below the average 95 that it sold for in 2022. So, did you see that? You ever heard of a phrase? Buy low, sell high. You've heard this before. People will tell you this. These geniuses, buy low, sell high. The Biden administration sold the oil that was in the strategic reserve because they have to put it out on the market. They can't just give it away. They don't give it to gas companies in the United States. They sold it for $95 a barrel. They're replenishing it for 74. They are making money on the deal. This is so fucking stupid. Do you think these assholes know this? Do you think anybody? Do you think Trump fucking knows? Anybody? No? Guess not. Meant for military. That's meant for real problems, not to keep your gasoline price down so that you can get some votes during an election. But they brought it down to the...
Well, also you want to keep a recession from happening if you don't need one because it has a negative effect on people. And coming out of COVID, you've got to, balance the economic headwinds that you're facing.
The lowest level.
But that's only to give a shit about actual people.
In order to try and remain relevant for an election. It's very terrible what they've done. They've done a lot of bad things. As part of our common sense energy policies, I will once again stand up for Iowa ethanol like I have done. I've been your savior.
I've been your savior, your ethanol savior. And they crucified me on a cross made of windmill blades.
Many people did not want anybody to stand up for it.
Many people didn't want anybody to stand up for it, but you did it anyways.
Promised.
Most people in Iowa hated the idea, but you did it anyways.
As president, I issued a historic rule declaring that E15 would be made available all year round. You know what
and why did he do that? To lower the cost of gas. That's why. He did it for political reasons.
That means I did it all year. It was 8 months, and I did it all year round. Nobody thought that was going to happen. And letting them use...
Yeah, they did. They do it all the time if there's an economic headwind that you're facing. That's one of the ways you remedy it.
The existing pumps. Now, that doesn't sound very glamorous, but it was hundreds of millions of dollars would have had to be spent. That would have been an increase in price to you. And I let them use the existing pumps. Very simple. I brought in experts. I said, well, what's the difference? They said, well, sir, the old ones are actually better. I know that because a lot of times equipment is much better. The older equipment's a lot better than the new.
Yeah, not in your case.
New equipment.
Really? The old equipment? Really? Where'd you learn that? On your iPhone 5? Old is always better. You know what I mean? That's why I only drive leaded diesel crank engine cars.
And like grass cutters.
Grass cutters. Wait, grass cutters. Grass cutters?
Better. I know that because a lot of times equipment is much better. The older equipment's a lot better than the new equipment. And like grass cutters. All you have in a grass cutter today is environmental computers and equipment.
You mean lawnmowers? He means lawnmowers, right? Grass cutters.
They forgot to put blades on it to cut the grass. So sometimes you'd rather have like a blade. Give me a blade to cut the grass.
What is he talking about? Honest to God, I have no idea where the fuck that came from. Like, I kind of get, like, he stays in his own shitty hotels and his own properties, so he thinks the low water pressure that sucks means that that they don't allow you to have, water pressure in, because of environmental regulations on shower heads, right? That shit, or the washing machine doesn't work and all that, because his shitty properties are poorly designed. But he thinks that's, I guess, the rest of the country. What the fuck does he mean, grass cutter?
In contrast to my...
He just moved on. He just fucking moved on. So they're building lawnmowers without blades. That's because of environmental reasons. What is environmentally sound about running a motor for a job that you're not doing? Fuck, this guy's an idiot.
Unwavering support for Iowa ethanol and agriculture. Ron DeSanctimonious wants to literally bankrupt Iowa farmers. That's what he...
That's his goal. That's what he's running on in Iowa. That's the ticket DeSantis is running on. I'm here to bankrupt you guys. I hope you like it.
Do, because his policies are horrible. DeSantis spent his entire political career vindictively trying to kill the ethanol industry, voting again and again to devastate Iowa farmers.
All right. They have a vote to extend the use of ethanol and a vote to stop it. So every vote to stop it isn't a vote to stop it for fucking ever. And he's just going to use this. Anybody who's got a legislative history doing fucking anything, he'll just make it up. But you don't think I know that? It's funny that you don't think I know that. Of course I know that. I know that. I know that. CSL. I know that. Of course I know that.
By eliminating the...
Why would you think I wouldn't know that?
Billions of dollars generated each year from ethanol and wiping out 48,000 Iowa jobs. He voted against it. Unlike DeSantis, they do, because his policies are horrible. DeSantis spent his entire political career vindictively trying to kill the ethanol industry, voting again and again to devastate Iowa farmers. By eliminating the billions of dollars generated each year from ethanol and wiping out 48,000 Iowa jobs. He voted against it. Unlike DeSantis, I will be your ethanol.
Okay, 48,000 corn growers are not going to lose their fucking jobs because people eat the corn instead of turning it into fuel an extra 8 months of the year all the time.
All champion for 4 more years. You have 4 more years of security. And I will also...
Yes, because Iowa is a border state.
...rescue the ethanol industry by canceling crooked Joe Biden's insane ethanol-killing electric vehicle mandate on day 1.
Jesus Christ. So the idea is that these folks won't be able to sell corn that people don't use for food, but it won't be a fuel source anymore because people won't need fuel anymore. If it's not going to work, if nobody's going to buy the electric cars and they don't go far and all this shit, how would that affect the ethanol industry?
Everything has to be elected.
Everything needs to be elected. You mean electric? Electric?
Ethanol killing electric vehicle mandate on day 1. Everything has to be elected.
Everything has to be elected.
Electric cars, they don't go far.
They go 300 to 400 miles.
They cost too much. They're all going to be made in China.
No, they're not. And by the way, he only says that because he thinks American auto workers are too stupid to make them.
United Auto Workers are going to all be voting for Trump because this mandate's going to kill all jobs.
Yeah, all the jobs are going. Just a mandate that's overall a suggestion for a percentage of cars to be electric. It's going to, yeah, kill all the jobs. All those jobs that rely on high oil prices and the ability for the Saudis to manipulate our entire economy by fucking around with oil.
Jobs. They've lost so many now to Mexico. 32% went to Mexico. Many went to Canada, and the rest went to China. Whatever we have left, it's peanuts compared to what it should have been. But this electric car thing is just crazy.
It's crazy. Electric cars. And they want electric tanks and electric helicopters.
If you want to drive, maybe, let's say you're here.
Okay, tell us how far an electric car goes.
If you say, let's take a drive to beautiful, safe Chicago. It's so safe.
You're in Iowa.
Let's drive there. How many times would you have to stop? About 9?
Oh, God. You know how he talks about how Biden doesn't know where he is, and it's nice to see the palm trees in Indiana, and all I can just, okay, hold on. Okay. You literally could drive to Chicago from Waterloo, Iowa, without ever charging your car. Not once. Yeah, it's less than 300 miles. Even with traffic, you more than likely wouldn't have to stop. I'm a whale oil salesman. Biden's destroying your industry. You wouldn't have to stop at all. All right. This is the part where we find out that Trump thinks Iowa is farther away from Chicago than it is. Like he literally thinks it's closer to Nevada or something. Like he thinks it's that far away. He has no fucking idea where he is.
You know, it's just crazy.
We used to, in Chicago, we used to drive to Iowa all the time.
Crazy. It's these people, and they know it. They know it's crazy. They don't want to even listen to people. Same thing with the trucking industry. They want to have electric trucks. So a truck, a big, beautiful.
You mean Elon Musk wants to have electric trucks and Amazon wants to have electric trucks? Have them sit down. Have them sit down and explain to you why they want electric trucks.
Beautiful truck like Peter built or one of them. They can go, the big ones, they can go 18-wheelers.
How long can they
can go? About 2,000 miles, they say, 2,000 on a big tank of diesel. And
BigMacTrucks.com. Posted during the Trump presidency. I have a 2014 CXU 613 with an MP8 rated 505 HP pulling a 48-foot tandem flatbed. Problem is fuel mileage. At first, I thought it was just encountering more wind than normal. Now I believe there's something wrong. I just ran from Florida to Edmonton, Alberta with only 6,000 pounds on the deck and only got 7 miles per gallon. And top cruise speed was 65 miles per hour. Last few trips between Calgary and Denver with gross weight between 76 and 79,000 pounds, I've been down between 5.1 and 5.3 miles per gallon. And on the flats, I set cruise at 63 miles per hour. I feel this should be at least a mile per gallon better. Yeah, it should be at least 6 miles per gallon. Tell us more about the specs, what kind of tires, pressure, etc. All that stuff adds up in the final number. I'd be shocked if the shop could do anything for you. I'm certain their skin crawls when someone comes through the door with a fuel economy issue. If the check engine light isn't on, they have no clue where to start. By the way, one or two trips doesn't tell you much. You need a 30, 60, 90-day average. Miles divided by gallons. Fellow Canuck, can't answer your question. Just ask which gallon you are using. I assume U.S. gal as opposed to imp gal would throw off the number. Of course, liters per mile or whatever. 100 kilometers would confuse this audience. Ha ha, they're Americans. Let's see. I was looking up the range of a truck. Let's see. Test drive. Hold on. How far? Yeah. How far can a semi go on a full tank of gas? How far can a semi go on a full tank of gas? Guide to fuel efficiency. The distance a semi-truck can travel on a full tank of diesel fuel depends on several factors, including the size of the fuel tank and the truck's fuel efficiency. On average, most semi-trucks can travel between 500 and 800 miles on a full tank. Some trucks equipped with larger tanks can travel up to 2,000 miles on a single tank. Fuel efficiency is another important factor. That's what he's talking about, because they have like these trucks that are like lighter loads and are all gas. Right. They still got to stop to fucking sleep, but whatever. At 63 miles an hour.
An electric truck comparable, which you can't be comparable because you need so much room for the battery. Most of the area that you're going to carry your goods going to be battery. But
no, it's not.
Assuming we take away that problem, which is not easy to take away, you'd have to stop approximately 7 times to go 2,000 miles, right? You go about 300 miles, and they don't want to change that. You'd think after one, if I were sitting there and that was explained to me and verified, I would say, of course you're not going to do that. We'll destroy our supply chain. But the Attorney General would agree with me. I mean, you don't have to be a great expert to know. You can't do that.
Okay. Oops, hold on. Here's, according to this, this is the Tesla semi. This is apparently something that Trump would approve of. The future of trucking is electric, according to the right-wing hero Elon Musk. 0 to 60 in 20 seconds. Less than 2 kilowatts per mile of energy consumption. A 500-mile estimated range. Fully loaded at 82K gross combination weight. It's a beast. Badass performance. Maximum safety. Massive range. Combination trucks account for about 18% of U.S. vehicle emissions. Semi would help change that. With less than 2 kilowatts per mile of energy consumption, semi could travel up to 500 miles on a single charge, recover up to 70% of the range in 30 minutes using Tesla's semi-chargers. In 30 minutes. So they have to stop for a half an hour every 500 miles, which you would want a driver to do if you don't want them falling asleep at the fucking wheel. Low cost of ownership. Charging with electricity is approximately 2.5 times cheaper per mile than refueling with diesel. Operators can see estimated fuel savings of up to $200,000 within their first 3 years of ownership. With remote diagnostics, over-the-air software updates, and fewer moving parts to maintain, operators will spend less time at service centers and more time on the road. Those lot lizards are going to have to get up their sales game, I would think. So they would being charitable to this asshole. According to their hero Elon Musk, you'd have to do 2,000 miles. You'd have to stop 4 times, 3 times technically, but at a half hour each. Snack and piss every 500 miles.
One goes 2,000 miles and the other one goes 300 miles.
Nope.
And you don't have any capacity because half of it's got to be for battery. The batteries are massive.
Again, fucking gibberish.
Crooked Joe puts China first. He puts Asia first, Ukraine first, illegal aliens first, environmental maniacs first. He puts
environmental maniacs first. And where first in what? Into a wood chipper? Into a what are they first in line for? Is my question. We're gonna put America first. I'm gonna put America first. What about the environmental maniacs in America? You're gonna leave them out to dry? They're Americans, goddammit.
Everyone first, but he puts America last. He puts Iowa last. He puts our workers
Well, Iowa's part of America. I would assume that would just kind of it's kind of assumed.
last. He puts our farmers last, and he puts everything that's good last. And by the
Everything that's good is last.
way,
You mean the best for last? He saves the best for last? Oh, that's nice of him.
they abandoned Iowa. You saw that, right? They left
Did they?
Iowa. I don't think he's going to do too well here. You know, they used to be together with them, but they've gone now to another state, good state also, by the way, but they've gone. They've left a tradition. I said,
Oh, the DNC not coming here. Yeah, because Iowa doesn't represent the country as a whole, and there's no reason why it should have permanent first status. That's a ridiculous idea.
we're never going to do that.
Never. We're going to keep judging the value of our candidates by Iowa standards. Brilliant.
We're never going to do that to Iowa. You know, it's got a great
Yeah, they are, by the way.
political tradition, and I kept Iowa first. That was me. I put Iowa
And it's not going to pay off.
first, and I will put America first every single time I put our country
Well, as a bargaining chip, you know, to get what you want from other countries for your own private interests. Yeah, yeah.
first. So job number one when we return to the White House will be to restore peace through
By the way, I am going along tonight. Hi, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Hello. House Parks Mega Worldwide. We're just, there's not even that much left of this. We're a little over halfway through.
strength. Peace through strength.
Same shit.
For 4 straight years, I kept America safe. I kept Israel safe. I kept Ukraine
I left the Kurds out to dry, and I didn't do shit about the eastern part, the Donbass region or whatever. Just let Russia have it and let them build up and build up and build up until they could do this attack. It's just, they just thought they'd have more time, quite frankly.
safe. There was no talk of this.
Yeah, what do you mean? Look, when you gave our military base to the Russians in Syria, that kind of
I
thing?
kept the entire world safe.
You mean how you didn't get us out of Afghanistan if you ran on getting us
A
out of
great
Afghanistan?
gentleman, Viktor Orban.
He's a great gentleman. He totally is. We're a little bit racist and bigoted, and of course his country has like 160% inflation. But great, yeah. Let's hold on. Let me check for sure. I don't want to talk out of school. Let's see. Yeah, they're doing okay. They're only at 14% right now. Half of the EU average was 9.32, but Hungary's is 14%. But he's a great dude. He knows what he's doing. And I mean, what more could you ask for? Let's see. Let's see. Go to Hungary's economy. Later mentioned central bank press ahead on easing. Hungary central Hungary economy. Hold on. This I like how they go to site. There we go. Hungary economy to slowly recover on the back of domestic demand. Yeah, eventually they'll all be there. They'll get there slowly. They're like, we're gonna do better next year. Cool. Yeah, great. Cool story, bro. EU state officials in talk with Hungary. Yeah, Hungary's just Hungary's inflation will fall into manageable range next year, says the minister. Okay. Oh no, this is So electric vehicles bad. Orban and Hungary good. Okay, well, let's take a look. Hungary sees. This is pretty weird. Hold on, let's see if I can raise this up. Hungary sees horrible economic fallout. Yeah, that's what that says. Horrible economic fallout without EV subsidies. Hungary said the European Union should reconsider a return to tighter fiscal policy and allow for higher subsidies for the electric vehicle industry to ward off crushing competition from who? To ward off crushing competition from the U.S. and China. I thought they were all going to be built in China. Huh. Oh, that was weird. It's very strange. It's very curious. It's very odd. You don't think so? All right. 1 second. I'm just Move this over here. Okay, here we go.
Hungry. He's the leader. He's the boss. He's everything you want to call him. He's a tough guy.
Asshole, racist, moron.
Tough, very well. I mean, he knows
He's tough very well.
Russia very well. He knows Ukraine very well. They were saying, what do you think is going on with the world? He said, what's going on with the world is Trump isn't there anymore. We didn't have any of these problems. He said, what would you suggest?
You mean Russia would have just steamrolled over Ukraine and Hungary would have been in a power position if Trump was in, but now they've got to deal with the reality of actually competing with their neighbors on a level playing field?
Bring Trump back as president of the United States, and you won't have any of these problems.
Well, I guess we're lucky he can't fucking vote here.
He said when Trump was there, these leaders, China, Russia, all of them, they were afraid of the United States. They feared the United States. They respected him. And I thought it was a nice statement. So
really, is that how COVID happened? Is that what happened? And so Russia didn't even have a plan for their attack. They just drumped it up in like 6 weeks.
I repeat it as often as I can because I know one thing, the press is not going to repeat it.
No, they repeat it. They just take something different than you take away from it. Mainly that you're the fact that you're seeking like that guy's endorsement shows how pathetic your entire campaign is.
You know, you might as well repeat it yourself. This is a lesson. Repeat it yourself because they're not going to be repeating it.
Yeah, that's the lesson, I think.
I'm the only.
Excellent. Doug, in our chat, the professional truck driver, I appreciate you being here.
Candidate, I think you know this, who can make a very important promise. So I think the world's in more danger than it's ever been because of the power of weaponry, and I will...
The power of weaponry? You mean nukes?
Be the only one that can say this with great surety. I will...
Again, no one could.
...prevent World War III. World War III.
Well, you can... First of all, you can say it with surety on the one hand because... if it happens under Biden, and it already has, or it isn't happening, or it's going to happen any day now, or whatever, you could just say, if I was in there, it wouldn't happen. That's the whole idea. And secondly, the definition of it, I guess the idea is that World War III will have come and gone by the time you get in office, and we'll be on to World War IV. He'll go, we had World War III. Biden caused World War III. We had World War III. It was war. The whole world was on fire. It is World War III. That's why he's saying it. I will prevent World War III because World War IV will happen as soon as I get in office.
We're very close. I don't know if you feel it. I don't know, Madam Attorney General, if you feel it, but...
What's her name?
We're very close to World War III when you see these discussions taking place. You know, we had an axiom, never, ever talk nuclear, never mention...
That's the axiom. Never, ever talk nuclear.
...the word nuclear. It was not a word that was mentioned because the power is so ridiculous.
You didn't discuss it in amongst yourselves, or you just didn't say you didn't bring it up at all?
And we didn't mention it. Now,
her name is Hey Woman.
All the time you're hearing nuclear.
Thank you, Pokey.
From them. From them. You're hearing it from other countries. It was unacceptable. It was a word that you couldn't say. And all of a sudden you're hearing that word all the time.
Because Russia isn't being allowed to destroy Ukraine.
And this wouldn't be a war like...
This wouldn't be a war like this if we were in there. They would have never threatened us with nukes because they would already have Ukraine by now.
With army tanks.
Hungary has an EV. I don't know if they have much of an industry, but it's the sales of themselves, like the European Union sales point.
Running back and forth, shooting at each other. World War I, World War II. This would be obliteration. This would be the worst thing there's never been. This would be obliteration.
Well, we haven't been obliterated, so I guess, yeah, technically. But I guess that's your standard for World War III, obliteration. So how is anybody going to be able to check in with you? Go, hey, you said you would be able to prevent it, and it happened, and now we're all dead.
You cannot use the word. You cannot discuss that word. But I rebuilt.
Why? Is it a fucking gremlin? Does it come when you call it?
Our military to a level that it's never been.
By the way, he talked about the fact that he redid the nukes all the time
before, and that includes that our nuclear stockpile.
Right. He said, yeah. Sorry, it's nuclear stockpiles. I think is what he said.
I have no choice. I hated doing it, but it's all tippy top. It's all real.
Tippy top. Sir, we have these hypersonic versions of the nukes, of course, that can work as like EMF interceptors. They are like dual payload. The primary payload is released moments before that wipes out all their electrical systems. The second one enters the atmosphere afterwards and strikes as the actual bomb mechanism. And all of the, yeah, but are they tippy top? Excuse me, sir? Are they tippy top? Yeah. I don't, yeah, sure. Yeah, tip. You mean this is the tip of it? Is that what you mean? This is also the top, but this is the tip of the missile. I'm sorry, sir, I don't want to give you a bad sir story for the first time in your life, but sir, what the fuck are you talking about?
Really in the best of condition now. We had stuff that we had no idea if it even worked. It was 40 years old, and the wires to the phones didn't even work. Nothing worked. And everything's been rebuilt. We've done a great job. Really
the wires to the phones.
An amazing job. And the only reason we had to do that is because China is building their heart out with nuclear, and Russia, as you know.
They're building their heart out with nuclear. They're just all sitting around whittling nukes.
Has comparable to us. So it's a very dangerous position when you see the words that are being spewed. And I'm saying
the words. You're spewing nuclear.
And I'm watching it. I'm watching his language and his body language. I'm saying he's saying the exact opposite of what should be said.
Oh yeah, what should be said, not said. He's saying something he shouldn't say. So the opposite of something is nothing.
We're very unsafe, and
are we? Well, I've seen you walk a ramp.
We have 11 months to go. You know, that's a long time. They can do a lot of damage in 11 months. Under the Trump administration, we had.
But what if they don't? Then are you just going to say you were an asshole? Nah. If Alex Jones can go 20 years with none of his shit coming true, I don't know why you'd have to go 11 months and have to have a mea culpa.
The most secure border in U.S. history by far.
Well, thanks, COVID.
We built 561 miles of border wall and got Mexico.
And access roads so that it made it easier for people to walk around it.
Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. That was much more than, as I said, we'll get Mexico to pay for a big portion of it. This is much more.
Oh, is that what you said? A big portion of it? Does anybody remember if he said big portion?
Oh, we have 28,000. I had 28,000 soldiers free of charge. I said to them, you're going to have to give us 28,000 soldiers.
That number exactly?
We need that. They said, no, we will not do that. I said, of course you will. They said, we will not do that. Why would we do a thing like that? I said, you're going to have to do it. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to do it.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, totally.
And they said no, and then I said, here's what's going to happen. On Monday morning at 7 o'clock, we're going to impose a 25% tariff or tax on all of your goods, including the cars that you stole away from us in terms of manufacturing of cars. You know, they have 32% of our car production was taken away years ago by Mexico. 32%. But every car is going to have a 25% tax.
Also, the growth of the auto industry, you know, they produce 32% of what we produce. But the growth of car production is like, what, 400% since the 60s?
On it, and we're going to take in so much money. And then they turned around and they said, we would like to make a phone call to Mexico, please, sir.
Were you? Where did this take place?
They came in the room.
I thought you had them on the phone. So they probably have two phones. I'm sorry. 5
minutes later, and they said it would be our great honor to supply you with 28,000 soldiers. And we had 28,000 soldiers, and we had very few people. We had the best record. This is as we're building the wall.
Right. They helped guard it while you created an access road that now people could walk the entire length of it and into the country because the wall ends at Indian land or at private land, and they just walk right around it.
And I was going to add another 200 miles to the wall that we had just completed because.
But you couldn't seize Indian land and you couldn't seize people's property. You didn't have eminent domain. You were going to lose in
So
court.
all of a sudden you needed more because it's like, you know, that's the way it works, right? They come, have to walk a little bit further out. We're going to add another 200. And then what happened is we had a rigged election, and Biden came in and he said, we don't want any walls. We want to have open borders. And nobody could believe it. And
Yeah, I don't believe it. I've never actually heard him say that.
when I heard that during the campaign, I figured maybe it's just words.
It happened inside your fucking empty dome.
But who could be so stupid? Who could be so horrible to our country? What they're doing to our country, they actually meant it. Because they took all of the wall that I had ready to just be installed, could have been done in 3 weeks.
But you would have had to build more access road, which would have made it easier for cartels and for people, and human smugglers to get to the end of the wall. Because it's going to end at some point because it's private land.
And they took that wall and they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. And it was all the exact stuff that
Well, it was rusty. You know what I mean?
Border Patrol wanted. We had wires in it for technology. We
technology wires. Why didn't you say so?
had concrete, rebar, and
wires.
very hardened steel. That's exactly what. And they had to have openings to see.
They did. They had to have openings to see. You mean the
I
cartels?
was going to put up concrete plank, and it would have looked fine. But
I would have put up concrete plank, which wouldn't have blown over at all.
no, but think of it. It's so sad. And they actually sold a lot of it for 5 cents on the dollar. Now they'll end up building it at some point because, two things that work. Remember the old days with the
Fucking walls and wheels. By the way, hold on. Let me see if I can show you this. Let's see. Let's see if I can move this over and then go to images. It's a war wagon. Hold on. See if I can find like a picture of it. Hold on. Get the fuck out of here. Go to see if I can find the trying to find a single picture of one of these things that I could show you. Fuck it. I'll look it up later. I'll post it on my social media when I find one. But they used to have these. They just build these plank walls like about 8-10 feet high and put them on the front of a handcart essentially, and they would just roll this shit forward, and it would it'd be an aero barrier, and then they would roll a bunch of them alongside each other, and they'd coat them. They'd either soak them in water or they'd coat them in stuff to make them less flammable in case they shot fire arrows at them. And that would be it was like a rolling guard. It was a wall with wheels essentially. And so this dunderfuck actually saw this shit at one point and was like, "That's what we need. Then we could just keep moving the wall closer."
Campaigns, I said, there's only 2 things that work, because your phone that you have and your computer that you have, in about 2 weeks, it's obsolete. You have to buy a new one. The 2 things
No, it isn't.
that work are wheels and walls, right? Wheels will always be there, and walls.
No, not really. By the way, you do realize we need tanks have treads for a reason.
Will always be there. They're the only 2 things that will never get obsolete.
Well, I guess roofs and floors as well then.
Now we have a border catastrophe.
What's a wall without a roof and a floor, honestly?
Like in, nobody's ever seen really anything like it. If you look today look over the last 3 years. But you look now, it's so bad. It's like nothing
Anybody's ever seen
in
before?
the history of the world. Yesterday, we had a single highest day record of illegal border crossings ever recorded, 12,600, one day.
Oh, by the way, the reason this number keeps getting higher is not only are they encountering these folks, and because of the limited areas where they can go through, they're physically counting them and processing them and all this kind of shit, but also there are more sensors along the, the area, the border, than there ever have been because of funding by the Biden administration, that we can actually fucking see these folks. Before that's why they're like, I don't know how many gotaways. Well, there's a lot fewer gotaways because we can actually fucking see them now.
We have no idea who any of them are.
But we do know this. They come out of insane asylums, and they all look like Hannibal Lecter, and they're being released out of prisons. Yeah.
They come from Africa.
How do you know if you don't know who any of them are?
They come from Asia.
How do you know if you don't know who any of them are?
They come from South America.
Oh, you're just going by their race. I see.
But not just
So is your race who you are? I guess you would think
South
so.
America. They're all over the world. They dump them on the border, and they pour into our country, and nobody's
They dump them from where? Oh, from the asylum.
there to check them. And the Border Patrol is incredible, by the way. They want to do it, but they're told not to do their job.
Are they? And they say yes? So they're told not to check people, and they just don't do it. They just go, okay.
It's crazy
Do they just wave them through?
what's going on.
It's crazy what's going on between your ears.
They're ruining our country. And it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing. They're destroying our country. They don't like it when I said that. And I never read Mein Kampf. They said, oh, Hitler said that in a much different way.
In a much different way. No, in kind of the exact same way.
You know, they're coming from all over the world, people all over the world. We have no idea. They could be healthy. They could be very unhealthy. They could.
Oh, yeah, he means blood. He's not, like at one point, he's not even talking about culturally.
Bring in disease that's going to catch on in our country, but they
Yeah, well, it'll be the hip thing now.
do bring in crime, but they have them coming from all over the world, and they're destroying the blood of our country. They're destroying the fabric of our country.
And is this where you're announcing that your blood is mostly rayon?
And we're going to have to get them out. We're going to have to get mass numbers of these, especially the criminals.
And we're going to have to rush antibiotics, obviously, and some, syphilis meds right away to some people. I would guess. There are certain people who might need it more than others.
They're coming from jails, prisons. They're coming from mental institutions. They say, please don't say the words insane asylum. But I have to say it. They're emptying out the insane asylums.
Why? Is it because you think your supporters don't know what a mental institution is?
From all over the world. Why wouldn't?
Do you think, honestly, does he think his supporters, when they hear mental institution, they're like, isn't that what a college is? A mental institution, like where you go to learn stuff, right? Like colleges and universities or mental institutions.
I would do it if I were running Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico.
You would never run them though, because you'd have to grow a mustache.
They're emptying out their prisons into our country. How stupid are we to allow this to happen? This week, the Biden
We aren't,
administration
and they aren't.
closed 2 vital railway crossings so that border agents could be redirected to help process even more migrants. They were coming in. You saw the trains with thousands and thousands of people on top of them and in them.
No, that's not what they're talking about.
Thousands and thousands of people pouring into our country. And we actually allow them to come in. They process them. Where do you come from? Where were you? I was in a jail. Oh, okay, you can come in. Come on in. They let anybody in.
Yeah, that's just how it works. And this man was president.
And you have other people that study. You probably saw Melania this week where she held a great, beautiful reception for people.
Yeah, it was great. And the uplighting was fantastic. She looks like she was teaching people how to use a Ouija board.
That came into our country legally. They studied, they worked, they had to take exams, they had to talk.
Unless they were a hot model, of course, in which case my journey was streamlined.
Talk about our flag and George
If they can parrot what they've learned, then in they go.
Washington and everything else. It was a
Yeah, George Washington stuff.
beautiful day.
So that's where you learned it.
But that's the way it's supposed, because we want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. But what's happening now is the whole system is being underrun. And
It's being underrun? Well, thank God. I thought it was being overrun. Have you guys heard? I heard it was being overrun, but apparently it's being underrun.
A beautiful day, but that's the way it's supposed. Because we want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. But what's happening now is the whole system is being underrun, and no country.
Yeah, the whole system is being underrun.
Can sustain this, by the way. You know, you have children going to school. They don't speak the language.
I thought schools were, well, I mean, schools are there to teach a language. Which language are you talking
You
about?
have children going to school speaking languages that nobody even knows what the language is.
Nobody. Yeah, I don't even know what they're saying.
There are many languages in the world. They don't even know
That's
what
right.
the language is.
Probably alien talk. What the fuck?
And they're sitting in classrooms, and there's no room for our students in the classrooms.
Well, yeah, because you have to have like two people sitting across from them trying to just make out what the weird, is it Latin professors? What do they?
They don't speak the language.
Is it all clicks and whistles?
On my
They don't speak the language. Jesus Christ, this is fucking dumb.
first day back in the White House, I will
stop all foreign languages from entering the country, especially the ones that sound funny to me and whatever that shit Melania says to her mom when she thinks I'm not listening.
terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration, stop the invasion on our southern border, and begin the
And it'll be like almost like it never happened.
largest domestic deportation operation in American history. We have no choice. No country can sustain this.
Right. You gotta, anybody who looks foreign, round them up, you know, deport first, ask questions later, I think.
We
clearly.
will restore law and order to our communities, and I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical, out-of-control prosecutor, of which we have many, in America. I have a guy named Deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged person. He happens to be after me. You know, the great one is the boxes hoax. They have a boxes. Biden has been taking stuff out of the White House or taken out wherever he was. He was a senator.
Yeah, those are the papers from his time in the Senate, and they have a Biden Senator Center or whatever at UPenn.
50 years. He's got tremendous amounts of stuff.
Tremendous amounts of stuff. Oh no.
He had it brought to Chinatown. What's that all about? And then
I think it's just a culturally named part of town, which increasingly is like a mix of, like, quite frankly, Vietnamese.
after it was brought there, it was distributed to different places.
It was just well, yeah, of course. I mean, once you get it to Chinatown, then there's a huge underground, you know, I don't know if it's a river or
Chinatown. And it leaked to CNN, of course, because they leak. The prosecutors leak that he's not going to have any problem. But me, with
they didn't leak it, they announced
a
it.
tiny amount, and I come under the Presidential Records Act, which gives me the absolute right to do it.
No.
With me, oh, I'm different. But mine was in a secure location.
A secure shitter.
Everything was tippy-top.
Just like the nukes.
But, you know, with this guy...
So you had, wait a minute. You had nukes in your, you have nuclear information? Is that what?
Just think about it. They don't want to do anything. They're not going to do anything. It just came out. They released it. They leaked it. They leak it because they're dishonest. You're not supposed to leak that. They talk about classified documents, and they're leaking about classified documents.
I mean, they're not classified. Hey, asshole, if you declassify them, they're not classified. What are you talking about?
But he had many classified documents. Just think about it. And they leaked that he's going to be okay. He did nothing wrong. He did everything wrong.
Everything wrong. He did so much wrong that he accidentally didn't do anything wrong. He did total 180.
And he made it impossible for them. And he took things when he was a senator, which Dick Durbin is on television. He's a senator, Democrat. He's saying, oh, if he did that, that's a crime. That's a terrible thing. And he never came under the Presidential Records Act because he was vice president and he was a senator. But for him, it's okay. For me, and I have total protection. I'm allowed to do it. You know, the New York Times wrote an article, and
did they? Oh, we can trust them.
I'm sure the writer got fired, but basically it said, please, 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 Mr. President, and that was the title, something like that. Please, 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 Mr. President, like James Brown. Did you ever hear please, please, please? Please, 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 Mr. President, may we have... They said the only right they have is.
Hold on. Honest to God, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Hold on. New York Times, please, Mr. President. Trump-o-meter. There's a New York Times art. Okay, hold on. News? I don't know. Yeah, I don't see anything even remotely named that. Seriously. I don't see a please, Mr. President, anything. Yep. Yeah, no, nothing. All right.
To say, please, Mr. President, may we have them because I'm entitled to them.
Okay, first of all, no, he's not. And we're not talking about magic words, motherfucker.
And this was in the
There was a sniff. Did you notice the sniff?
New York Times, big article. And yet they leak that Biden has no problem, but they continue because I have a deranged prosecutor. He's a deranged person. And the good news is people get
By the way, he thinks Jack Smith is deranged because he has a beard.
it.
I'm not kidding.
That's why my poll numbers are so high, I believe. Because, you know, I would really... I would really have, I think we'd be winning by a lot, but now we're winning by numbers that nobody can believe. I think
Right, nobody believes
it's
him.
why our poll numbers, because they see this persecution that goes on in this two tiers of justice or injustice, and they don't like it. They don't want that. This is not what America is all about. So I
Which, of course, is the hokey pokey.
appreciate everything, and I appreciate all the support we get because that makes a big difference. When you have poll numbers where, you know, where we're like literally 80 and 90 points higher in some cases, and
I don't know what. And, like, who's more criminal than Trump in terms of the Republican candidates for president this year?
some of these guys, we have guys running like from Arkansas. He's been at zero for 7 months. Ada Hutchinson, I call him Ada. It's Asa. The only reason I corrected is I'll say, he didn't know his name. He didn't know his name. He must be cognitive, you know? Don't forget, I do most of this stuff without teleprompters. They do. Biden.
First of all, there are teleprompters on both fucking sides of him. Just said the whole time. This one right here. And this one right here. Behind Jeffrey Epstein. This one right here. These are both teleprompters. He bitches when they go out. It's gibberish.
No, if I say Ada Hutchinson, oh, they'll do it anyway. I just gave them an idea. Look, they're starting right there. They'll say, he didn't know his name. No, it's Asa, but I call him Ada.
Nobody knows why, though. What the fuck are you talking about?
But this
Is he Aida? Is that was somebody else was making a misogynistic joke against him, and it's Aida Hutchinson, or like he needs help?
guy has been, he's the governor of Arkansas. He's got the
No, he's not actually.
personality of that floor tile. See the tile? There's a broken tile right there.
Oh, you can see it because the floor's so empty. I thought the place was packed. Is it
Even
not?
outside, it's packed.
So you can see the floor in the front row.
That's about
Also, this. Hold on. He Asa Hutchinson. Let's see. This is him. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a. Okay. Asa Hutchinson says his campaign isn't breaking, though, but he says he's full speed ahead. That's him, Asa Hutchinson. Now, Asa Hutchinson was the governor of Arkansas. Now it's Sarah Huckabee Sanders. who's a supporter of Trump's and used to work for him.
Personality, and he's a nasty guy. He's got 0 for how many months has he been running? Like a year? For a year he's been running. He's at 0. Chris Christie, who's got a serious case of Trump derangement syndrome. He's sick. Between him and Liz Cheney, does she have Trump derangement syndrome or what?
Or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought everybody liked me, and it's becoming clear that I suck.
And I let Scooter Libby out. You know, it's a friend of their family. They didn't do anything for him. I did. They didn't get him out. I got him out. I gave him a pardon because he was treated very unfairly. Scooter Libby, but he was a very good friend of the Cheney family. They didn't do anything for him. I did.
Yeah, because A, it's Dick Cheney, and second, what the fuck's she gonna do?
But, you know, you'd think they'd be thankful for that, but they don't talk about that. They say I'm a threat to democracy. No, Joe Biden is a threat to democracy.
Well, that settles it. That's all I needed to hear. Yeah, I'm convinced.
By all of the things that we talk about. But I'm also going to indemnify all police officers and law enforcement officials throughout the United States for being destroyed by the radical left for taking strong action on crime.
Strong action?
These are people, they want to destroy them because they want to put criminals away. They're
no, I don't think that's the
forced
problem.
to do nothing. They cannot do anything.
They can't do anything. Nobody's been arrested in 3 years.
When they want to, they do want to. They're the greatest people, the police.
But they just can't do anything. They would love to do something, but they got to stand by and just let shit happen.
And I just met a lot of them in the backstage. They're all like incredible people.
Yeah, but there were murders happening all around, and there was a guy stealing stuff, and the cops couldn't do anything.
But, you know, they're under threat of losing their pension, their house, and their family, and losing everything if you touch these people. I mean, you...
No, they touch a lot of them.
You let what's going on where the people are going into these stores and robbing them, and even the clerks, they fire clerks if they try and stop them. I mean, if I had a clerk that was willing to stop them, I would say, you are the greatest. You love our country, our company, our store. And they fire them. It's like crazy. There's something going on. Our brains are being fried. There's something going on. But
again, what kind of stopping are we talking about? Because bashing somebody's head in a crowbar, bashing somebody in the head with a crowbar over a candy bar is a bit much, I would say, if that's or shooting them, for example.
Our police know everything, and they can solve.
They know everything. Jesus Christ. I got to close my drapes.
Solve these crime problems very quickly, but they're not allowed to do it. And they don't want to lose their families. They don't want to lose their house and their pension.
Well, then they shouldn't drink so much. And no, I'm kidding.
We're not going to let that happen anymore. So what I'm going to do is give indemnifications to any police officer that gets in trouble for.
Great. So you'll just have a giant, why don't you just call it the purge? Fuck it. Why don't you just automatically deputize every maggot lunatic in the country? That'll save it.
Pursuing a criminal, because that's what we have to do.
Well, the problem is that you don't know they're a criminal in a lot of cases until they've been tried in a court of law. So that's why there's a thing. And P.S., so have you talked to Dinesh D'Souza about this at all? Because that would effectively be, what's the phrase, guys, in the chat room? Yes, a police state.
In addition, we will take over our horribly run Washington, D.C., and clean up, renovate, and rebuild our capital so that it no longer is a nightmare of murder and crime. People are being murdered there every day. Murdered.
Oh, my God. In a big city?
In our capital.
Every day. Obviously, they got to take Wednesdays off.
Can you imagine when these people come from foreign countries and they may not be rich, but their capitals are safe. They have no crime. They take care of it fast.
Oh, you mean where the crime is entirely the purview of the ruling class? Uh-huh.
But can you imagine they come into this thing and they read that 3 people were murdered last night in Washington, D.C., and they have graffiti all over the place on those beautiful marble columns. They have
all over the body?
Graffiti.
Yeah.
All over the place. Graffiti, graffiti, graffiti.
Oh, graffiti. That's the worst. I mean, murder's one thing, but...
The streets, they look like... I mean, I drove into Washington a few weeks ago for a court.
Oh, you rode in, by the way. You don't drive. You don't know how to drive. You don't have a driver's license. You can't drive. You rode in.
Court case. one of the many. I should get to know it very well. I can't get a fair trial on Washington. The whole thing is ridiculous. But for a court case, I'm driving over a road where it's almost all paper garbage. And, you can see paper. I know paper.
Yeah, I know paper. You've seen paper. What's paper again? The word sounds familiar, but...
I know cans.
Sure you do.
When cans start to literally rot, when paper is rotting, it's been there for a long time. Nobody...
I see. So it's not only is it trash, but it's trash past its expiration date. Ugh.
Cleans up anything. The medians, the dividers, they're all broken and falling down.
The median dividers? What's falling down?
It looks like an absolute slum.
Well, I mean, were you near one of your properties? That could explain it.
And when foreign leaders come into Washington and they see that, I don't care how good you are as a president, they go back and they say...
In my country, we drive over people, and there they think paper is enough? The Americans are pathetic. They've got homeless people lying there. Don't they have armed forces to roll around and shoot these people and throw them in a wood chipper?
That country's...
And use them as a mulch. It is good for the medians.
Got a lot of problems. We're going to clean it up. We're going to make it the most beautiful capital anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's what he's going to... When he says he's going to clean up this town, he means literally. Like Mayor Goldie Wilson.
Our parks will be cleaned. All tents and graffiti will be removed. You have to see some of these beautiful parks that you remember 5 years ago. You'd go there. They were so beautiful and safe. But
then there was the January 6th thing.
Take a look at some of these parks. You can't even see the grass. There are people all over the place living there with tents. Slum areas will be demolished.
Yeah, that happened. That's new, you think?
And rebuilt to the highest level of architectural elegance. We're going to have to do that.
We got to do it. We got to hire some elegant architects.
I know it sounds rough, but we're going to have to do that.
Yeah, it sounds rough having elegant architecture. That's, I mean, hey, you got to crack the whip somehow.
Washington, D.C.
God damn, this is fucking boring.
Will become a symbol of beauty, security, freedom, and strength again. We have to have that. We can't let this happen.
You mean like Marla Maples? I'm sorry.
Taken over the Capitol. In addition to our capital, we're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope and safety and beauty, better than they've ever been before. I mean, you're not thinking too much about that in Iowa.
No.
But,
Yeah, in Iowa, you don't give a fuck. I mean, you have little mini slums.
You want to see your country be great.
Yeah, you don't want to go there, but...
It will be the greatest investment ever made in them, and we're going to work closely with Democrat leaders. They're all run by Democrats, and...
You mean where all the money is made?
They're all doing horribly. And all of these failing places, we're going to make sure that this rebuilding will be a lasting and very compassionate one. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to...
Compassionate rebuilding?
Strengthen up crime at a level like nobody can believe. You're going to be...
I beg your pardon?
Places, we're going to make sure that this rebuilding will be a lasting and very compassionate one. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to strengthen up crime at a level like nobody can believe. You're going to be able to...
You're going to strengthen up crime at a level that no one... Are you? I think we got to add something to this one.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
And then on top of that now...
That this rebuilding will be a lasting and very compassionate one. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to strengthen up crime at a level like nobody can believe. You're going to be able...
I appreciate, all right. Yes, that's incredibly stupid and hilarious. But also, I appreciate the kind of like guttural that goes on in his throat when he says it. Listen, here it is again.
We're going to make sure that this rebuilding will be a lasting and very compassionate one. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to strengthen up crime at a level like nobody can believe. You're going to be able to...
Do you hear that one? At a level like... yeah, that was at a level like...
This rebuilding will be a lasting and very compassionate one. We're going to rebuild our cities, and we're going to strengthen up crime at a level like nobody can believe. You're gonna...
I don't know what that fucking was. He just gacked up something.
Be able to be safe again. Safety will be restored so that children can go outside with their mothers and fathers and play in the park without being beat up, molested, or shot.
So when they go with their moms and dads, they're being beat up, molested, and shot. And maybe it's the mothers and fathers that are the problem, I guess.
Students can walk to school in peace. They used to walk to school. Today, you need an armored vehicle to take them to school. Crime rates will plummet.
No, you don't.
And people will they're going to be really longing to move back into the city. You know, when
People will long be longing.
You need an armored vehicle to take them to school. Crime rates will plummet, and people will they're going to be really longing to move back into the city.
They'll long be belonging. They'll be longing. Yeah. I just want to belong as I long be, baby.
You know, when I was young, my dream was to move into Manhattan. I wanted to build buildings in Manhattan. Oh, that was my dream.
Because it was your dad's business and he was writing you a paycheck to do it anyways as a tax dodge. So why the fuck not at least pretend to do it?
And today, people are leaving. You know, they're leaving. They're afraid to stay in the cities. Unlike DeSantis, will...
Real quick. If I could. 1 second. One second. Here you go. Let's take a look at the population numbers here, whatever. A bunch of single people. 57.3% of the people who live in Manhattan don't have families. Non-family, so I guess they're not worried about taking their kids to the park. And then let's see, married, all in general, non-family, much bigger. Male, a lot of women, these are renters versus owners. These are male and female right here. These are owners of property, and this is the renters. This is New York. Okay, there's the, here you go. See if we have a education. There's Manhattan education attained by race. There's a bachelorette's degree. The average earnings of a New Yorker, 73,000. Average male is 83. Average female is 65. 517, 1864, blah, blah, blah. Manhattan poverty by race. Islanders are at the top. Native, other, black, Hispanic, Asian, multiple, and then white. But there's also 723 Islanders are in poverty, but it's a huge 34% poverty rate because there's only 723 of them. Or sorry, there's total 723. There's 248 are in poverty, 34%. Natives, there's 7,000 total. 2,000 are in, as far as the rate goes. Let's see, who's got the highest? Other is definitely losing this battle. White is at 7, Asian 17, multiples at 17. There you go. Poverty in Manhattan, there it is. Yep, everybody's leaving. Is the household married families and non-families? You got over 200K. There's those people. Manhattan size, married age and sex. Yep, it's people are leaving. There's nobody there. Nobody. They can't even chart this shit anymore. There's just no one even in the city. Let's see what the population is. 1.6 million people. Let's see. Is it gone up? On weekdays, the number of commuters in Manhattan pushes Manhattan at 3.9. 170,000 people per square mile. Smallest borough in terms of land mass. Just 20% in owner-occupied housing. Harlem, Manhattan history, Manhattan facts, population. I don't know if there's can we have a chart of back and forth? No. I think the point is that, let's see, I'll go to here. Manhattan population. 2000 to present. Well, let's see. Is 1.6 million, we said, right? Okay, here it is. Here's the macro trends. Let's look at this. There you go. Move this down here. New York Metro population area, 1950 to now. Go to a historic area, yabba yabba. And current metro area, New York City, has 18.9 million people and a 0.37% increase from 2022. A metro area population in New York City in 2022 was 18 million, a 0.23 increase. In 2021, 18.8, 0.1% increase. Metro area population in New York in 2020 was 18.804. So there are a couple 100,000 more people living in Manhattan now than there were then. And they'll go, they're all illegals. There's the UN projection. Here's at its lowest point, that's when crime was highest. And then it's back up here. And then we get there. And this is where we are right now. And that's the UN projections or whatever. And then it keeps going up. And they're projecting it to continue to rise. Yeah. Most populous city in the country by far. 6 million more than LA. 10 million more than Chicago. 12 million more than Houston, Dallas, Miami, Atlanta. Yeah, nobody wants to move there. Everybody's leaving. Obviously, it's a dying city. And you were saying?
Will always protect Social Security and Medicare. He was against Social Security. He was willing to take Social Security.
Like Mike Lee?
And do numbers on it and slice and dice. But he also wanted to move the minimum age up to 70. That's a big move for people because you don't... Listen, we have so much liquid gold under our feet. We don't have to do that stuff. We don't have to do that. Why should seniors be hurt with Medicare and Social Security? We're also going to fight to give you much better health care because Obamacare, as you know, is a catastrophe for
it's a catastrophe.
American families.
Especially for the, almost 30 million people who wouldn't have insurance otherwise.
And as I say, even Elizabeth Warren, who often is referred to, as you know, as Pocahontas because of her great Indian heritage, but she even agrees that it needs to be fixed. It has to
Yeah, but she wants it to go further, dumbass. It's not the same thing.
be fixed. It's too expensive for the people.
Yeah, that's not what she's talking about.
And we're going to get it done. We almost had it done, but then John McCain voted it down after campaigning for 10 years to kill.
No, you almost had it gotten rid of. You didn't have anything done. You didn't actually have a plan. You still don't.
But John McCain voted it.
Okay, first of all, this dumb motherfucker doesn't... Where's his healthcare plan? Where is it? Post it on your fucking website, dum-dum.
Down. Too bad. That was too bad. Remember, thumbs down.
Yeah, that was more than 2 weeks ago. I remember it, though.
That was not good. We're going to make it much less expensive for the people.
How?
People with much, much better health care. You're going to get that, and...
Yeah, how?
We deserve it.
Yeah, you do deserve it. How?
On day one, I will sign a
How are you going to do it on day one? How are you going to do any of this
new
shit?
executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory,
Yeah, I don't think that's going to help with healthcare.
transgender insanity, and inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. A mask mandate.
You mean like happened under your presidency, but don't exist unless there's a specific outbreak? How long does this mask mandate have to work? If there's a breakout, can they tell everybody to wear masks for the next week until it subsides to just try and keep the case count low?
And as I said before, something that's very popular, I can't believe I have to say it, but I might as well.
Women in men's sports.
I will keep men out of
I will keep women out of men's sports.
women's sports. Is that okay? You see the weightlifting records? They're being broken by hundreds of pounds. One stood for, I think, 18 years, over a quarter of an ounce.
In Australia.
They're coming in, they're wiping it out like 158 pounds. So it's just
And this story, is so fucking tired.
so demeaning to women, the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah, and that's the good thing about you. You've never been demeaning to women.
women, great athletes. I mean, it's just so unfair.
It's so unfair.
They're going to have records. They'll have, look, eventually that's got to happen. It's going to happen with me. But you're going to have like these records where the record will be here.
He keeps doing that.
But you'll have this blip for a period of 3 or 4 years. Beep. Like that. They're going to say, they'll look back at 100 years, they'll say, what the hell happened there? Who was that? That was one strong woman, wasn't it? I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. We will restore free speech, and I will secure our elections.
All right,
Our
now he's
goal
just
will be
rattling off.
one-day
He's done.
voting with
1 day voting, and if anybody tries to vote early, we'll arrest
paper
them,
ballots and voter
even if it's a legit vote.
ID. Very simple. But until then, Republicans must win. We have to win.
How? If you're up against cheaters who control the government. How do you win?
Once we get in, we'll change that. But we
If you get in and you can change it, doesn't that mean it's not fixed?
have to win. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United
Used to be 5.
States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country
Well, he hasn't done any, so sure.
as Joe Biden and the Biden administration has done. To take the 10. Remember, I used to say
But that would include you, though,
5.
3 times.
But you don't have to say 5. You could take the 10 worst presidents and they would not have done the damage that he's done. So if you want to save America from Crooked Joe, then get every patriot you know.
Whether they live in this state or
Make
not.
sure they are registered Republicans, have to be registered Republicans,
They don't have to be in Iowa, though,
and get them out
because they're going to stand in a crowd. So
to vote in their local precinct caucuses at 7 p.m. on Monday. And I'm going to be here with you, by the way, January 15th.
Desperate to try and salvage the state. Can you imagine when he loses Iowa? God damn.
It's Martin Luther King holiday, so it's a
The irony.
Martin Luther King Day. I'm going to be here.
You're going to have to be in Iowa on that. Why? Why do you have to campaign on that day if you're that far ahead?
Probably in Des Moines or someplace.
Yeah, someplace big, someplace you know.
I'll be
You're not going to be in Waterloo.
I'll be caucusing. I'll be caucusing. We don't want to take any chances, right? So I could sit home. I didn't have to be. They said, sir, do you want to go there? You're in great shape. I said, no, thanks. I'm going because we have to make sure everybody gets out. And if I
Yeah, because I've seen the internal polls.
don't get out, that's no good, right? So we're going to make sure we get out. We're asking you to commit to caucus for us and bring as many people as you can to caucus at our campaign. Sign up at
What? How do you pronounce campaign again?
make sure we get out. We're asking you to commit to caucus for us and bring as many people as you can to caucus at our campaign. Sign up at ia.
Kapang, 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 kapang. Go there to the compound, sign up. All right. Go down there to that compound, sign up.
We're asking you to commit to caucus for us and bring as many people as you can to caucus at our campaign. Sign up at ia.donaldjtrump.com. Okay?
Kapang. That's how you do it.
And in conclusion,
thank God. Wrap it up, son.
From Sioux City to Iowa City.
Wait, Sioux City. What about Sioux Falls?
From Fort Dodge to Cedar Rapids and Des Moines.
Yep.
To Davenport to right here in Waterloo.
By the way, those are pretty close to each other. I'm just going to say Des Moines and Davenport's like, they almost attached. They're close.
We stand on the shoulders of generations of
Oh my God, their lower back must be killing them.
Iowa patriots who have tamed the wilderness,
Yummy.
brave the elements, till the soil. You till that soil, I'll tell you.
Yeah, till the shit out of that soil, y'all. Do not stop soil tilling.
Still tilling the soil, right?
Yeah, it's at some point we'll be tilling the soil till the day till the cows come home. All right. Tilling like we're tilling, and we tilled before, and we're tilling it again. Tilling the soil till the cows come home.
You're great people.
Yeah, they're great at tilling.
Worked the fields, built the factories, and poured out their blood, sweat, and tears to make this country into the greatest nation.
That's weird. Was it like a soup that they fed everybody, or did they just pour that into the concrete and the foundations? Because that seems like, I don't want to say shit, but that sounds like witchcraft.
In the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We
Oh, boy.
are a failing nation. We
How come you ain't playing the
are a
song?
nation that has lost its confidence, its willpower, and its
And its erection. He's talking about himself right now. Pretty sure.
strength. We're a nation that has lost its way.
We're a nation that cannot see our dick because our belly gets in the way.
But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. We're not going to allow it to continue.
No, it can't. I mean, well, it would have to for another, 11 to 13 months.
Continue. We can't let it continue.
No, we got to stop it eventually, probably in about a year.
Biggest election we've ever had.
A year from now. So obviously it will continue until then.
Is coming up, 2024.
Right, but 2024 is going to be here in a couple weeks, but the election's not going to be here for 10 months.
I used to say that with 2016. This is the biggest election. I meant it. But we had a big border problem. In fact, I fixed it so good that in 2020, we couldn't talk about the border. They'd say,
yeah, because people weren't dying from border crossing issues. They were dying from COVID, hand over fucking fist.
sir, nobody cares about the border. I said, what?
Yeah, we're using refrigerator trucks to stack dead bodies. Nobody gives a fuck about the border.
What do you mean? It's the biggest thing. You fixed it, sir.
Yeah, that's what they said.
It was totally fixed.
Totally fixed. Like a dog.
And then what happened is not even believable.
Yeah, we don't believe you.
This is the single biggest election in the history of our country.
Yes. Said the Chinese porn star. That's terrible. I'm sorry.
This is going to determine whether or not we even have a country left, because these people are destroying our country. 3 years ago,
Somebody's yelling something. Give that man a microphone. What's he fucking saying? What are you afraid of, Trump?
we were a great nation, and we will soon be
Also, why are you staring at Jeffrey Epstein like that?
a great nation again.
I hope so.
It was hardworking patriots like you who
In Iowa,
built this country.
but only like maxing out at like 3 stories.
And it is hardworking patriots like you who are
Heartworking?
again. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. We will fight for America like no one has ever fought before.
Well, weren't you in office already? Don't you mean like again or?
2024 is our final battle.
That's true. Yeah, that's it. This is you throwing it all up against the wall, buddy, and I got to tell you, it looks to me like you're going to shit the bed.
With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers.
Mongerers?
We will
Warmongers, I think is what he means. It's like fishmonger, but with war.
drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We
Oh, we're going to throw them off.
will rout the
They're going to be totally, they're going to be like, that whole thing threw me off.
fake news media. We will evict Joe Biden from the White House, and
His asshole's still smarting from when he got kicked out of the White House in 21, so.
we will finish the job once and for all.
Isn't that finish the job once and for all? Fucker, what's the job? You can't, like, finish the job of democracy. So if you can end democracy, that would be finishing the job. What the shit?
The great silent majority is rising like never before.
Well, we'll just have to trust you on that.
And under our leadership, the forgotten men and women, the men and women,
The man and women? The forgotten man and women?
the great silent majority is rising like never before.
Yes, ever so quietly.
And under our leadership, the forgotten men and women,
So they just one guy and a bunch of women. I can dig these kind of odds. I can be very excited about these kind of odds. These are the kind of odds, frankly, I need.
the men and women of our country have been forgotten.
Who? I'm fucking with
They
you.
will be forgotten no longer. They weren't forgotten for 4 years. You know that better than anybody.
You remember?
Nobody's ever done better than we did during that 4-year period.
Yeah, not even close to true.
We will love our country. We will take
Will you ask consent, though?
care of our country. We will pray to God for our strength and for our liberty. We will pray for God, and we will be with God.
How do you pray for God? God, I hope you have the strength of, well, quite frankly, God, I guess. And if you don't, then you're not really God. Shit, I'm praying to the devil again. How'd this happen? God damn it. I mean, not you, obviously.
We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again.
Yeah, but we won't talk about nuclear.
We will make America wealthy again.
But just not with the stock market. Obviously, the stock market's going to have to go down a lot. Otherwise, because the stock market's, doing well, it's obviously just rich people getting rich. So you gotta bring the stock, you gotta crash the stock market to help the average guy. I hope you put your money where your mouth is.
We will make America strong again.
Well, we can smell you all the way over here. I mean, why do you think on the stage they hung two tree air fresheners next to you?
We will make America proud again.
Just not gay pride. Just not the gay kind. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, not that kind of proud.
We will make America safe again.
And he means him from prosecution for his crime.
We will make America great again. Thank you very much, Iowa. God bless you. Get out and vote. Get out and caucus. Thank you all. Thank you, Front Row Joes. You follow me no matter where I go. We love
you guys aren't from Iowa. This isn't helpful.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Front Row Joes, for taking up an inordinate number of space in a thing. Because
But outside, it's packed.
he can't not do it. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at the frozen. How do you not? You just can't. Most people just can't hide from the freeze frame. They just can't do it. That is a man who's never felt more confident and secure in his life.
Thank you.
Oh, God. And it's hold on, I'm coming, which is just gross. Clap, 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 clap. Hey, you. Hi. Thumb up your butt. Hi. Okay, there we go. Oh, God. I got to get ear floss. That's right. Clap, 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 clap. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Clap, 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 clap. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Squirt, squirt. Thank you. Thumb up your ass. Okay, clap, 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 clap. I'll walk over here. Hi. Hello, Mrs. AG, who I don't remember your name. Clap, 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 clap. Ugh. Clap, 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 clap. You, hey, ooh. Thank you very much. Most people don't notice that I do this so I can find where the stairs are without looking demented, because that's what I think about Biden. Squirt, squirt, right in my eye. Thank you. Jerk. Thank you. Thumb up your ass. Okay. Oh, and he just fell. Just ate shit. And let's pull back and see the crowd. Dude, this place is packed. Look at the people. Oh, they cut it off before you could get back to where the crowd ends. Well, what do you know? Womp womp. All right, I got to get going. I got a meeting to get to. God damn it. All right. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with me. I adore you. Thanks for the likes and the subscribes and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to hit 100K. We're trying to hit 1,000. By the way, at long last, I opened up the $5 Patreon again, so it is now available. It's now unlimited. Now we can have as many of them as people want to do it. So don't disappoint me for doing it. So it's open now again. So $5 a month, price a cup of coffee. If you think I'm worth a cup of coffee a month between you and I for the work that I do and the laughs that I bring, which I personally think are priceless, then patreon.com/HalSparks. Also, thank you guys for the super chats. Thanks, Judy, for liking the stream, hitting it on the way out the door. Bless you guys. This was another long one, and I appreciate it. I feel like in so many of these, we have to kind of like, you don't know what that is? Patreon.com/HalSparks is just a way to support the show and keep us on the air, and it's kind of a regular giving thing. Yeah, Curtis, thank you. You buy dollar store coffee? Well, then you could buy me a gallon of coffee a month. That's wonderful. Yeah, it's a Costco. At Costco, that $5 goes a lot further, and I am a member of Costco. It's very exclusive, but I've done very well. Ficus, we can keep him afloat. You know, a couple of whales, could keep him on the show for a good long while. I'm just saying. And our we had a super chat request for Baby Hal, and that's why he showed up at the beginning. So, but we'll see. At some point, we're gonna have to, we'll have to reassess. I'm kidding. Please support the show if you can. If you can't, I don't want you to worry about it. But just thank the people who do support the show, because they're why we're here and why it became a thing instead of a hobby. And now that I can afford to actually do that for you, and I will be taking this whole a better rig thanks to our Patreon people. I'm gearing up for the sexy liberal travel, because I'm going to have to do my show on the road for a lot of these sexy liberal gigs, and I'm also going to want to be able to set up a more resilient system, let's just say, with a better laptop and better available tech as I go on the road, so that we can actually continue the show at a quality level thanks to you guys. That's what I'm working on. So anyways, love you guys. Thanks for the support. Here we go. Yes. Oh, an annual Patreon. You can do that anytime. You can start that. It'll start whenever you start, but January is a good time to do it. It's a good New Year's resolution to help the show, especially if you're worried about the enemies of the show, like the kidney. That scared me, I gotta say.